Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just about to get access to the bands and the map pick. Both teams are gathering together. And this is going to be the match between the two underdog teams. Durotan's Couch managed to beat out the first seed team of MOM, or what does that stand for again? Masters of Mayhem, who successfully managed to go nearly undefeated in the open season. Gen.M is taking us to Battlefield of Eternity today. So we shall have a good time there. And the bands are... Where are the bands? Towers, I believe. Tomb. Altrak and Braxis. Okay. What's this? No, that's... That was a band, Altrak. And we have... For the most part, the band's on the screen, as you see. Okay. Anyways, we've... Oh. Didn't see you there, Shane. Shane? We are good to go now.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, I didn't know
Yeah. Sorry, I think I botched the opener there. It's no big deal, but everything's on the screen, and once everybody's in, we should be good to start.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I think that there's a lot that these teams are going to be bringing to the table today. I mean, with the finals, 5 games, there's so much room for teams to experiment and sort of see if they can figure out their opponent towards the end of the series.
Yeah. For that matter, BOE is always an interesting map. It is often very heavy on testing how much damage teams can do in a quick period of time, but it also tests teams' abilities to control the flanks, control vision, and make sure that they never get forced into taking an unfair fight while racing down an immortal. So it tests a unique skill set, it heavily emphasizes team fights, and it'll give us a good sense of what both of these teams can bring to the table.
Yeah, plus also, I mean, there's just so many choke points on that map that, getting set up on those objectives early can be so pivotal. And if you have the better race team and are able to get that early advantage on the race to force the other team to have to come to you, it can really be a difference maker on that map. I know that Durotan's Couch, they play a lot of the Artanis off lane with the amateur opponents. And that might be something to look out for going into this first game. We'll see.
And swaps as well. Just to confirm.
Yeah, swaps always dangerous.
So, but you're telling me, if I read things right, it was Gen.M that picked Battlefield of Eternity. Do you think they're aware of that Artanis pick?
I'm sure they're aware of it. I don't know if they have room to ban it, though. I mean, there's been a lot of things that have been very impactful for Durotan's Couch. I know Ace is like a heavy Maiev player throughout this season. So that's always, when a team has a really good Maiev player, that's always something that's on the watch ban.
Maiev and Medivh, we don't want to deal with that bans. Like, just having those two champions in your pool right now can literally just eat a whole bunch of bans for you.
And speaking of which, I know Gen.M plays a little bit of the Medivh themselves. So, that's maybe something Durotan's Couch is going to be looking at in this series. I think they've played it a lot on Tomb, which actually has been banned by the side of Durotan's Couch. So see if they maybe expand it onto a different map or if they, just decide to sit it down for today.
I wouldn't be surprised if Gen.M did their usual burst protection Uther combined with another healer combined with a hyper carry comps. Those can be really efficient, especially when you're stuck taking team fights.
All I know is if the team I'm playing against has a Medivh player on it, I don't want
Oh,
to play against that. Please, somebody help me.
you need a link at this point.
It'll be just 1 second. Sorry, computer's running a little slow.
All right.
Otherwise, though, I mean, there's a lot that you can do on this map. I will say, BOE, while it is a very race-heavy map, there is a lot of flexibility that you can do, especially in the solo lane, with there not being as heavy of like a clear requirement, considering you really only have the one lane to attend to.
Yeah.
You could often see some more interesting picks coming out in that
Alex
solo
Draza
lane.
off lane is probably one of my favorites.
I
And putting
can't say I've had the pleasure of seeing that one before.
healer off lanes on this map actually are pretty viable, so long as they can keep minions from getting free chip. I've seen it once or twice. It's always quite fun to see.
Yeah, played against a lot of tank off lanes on this map. I know that's
Yeah.
the ones I believe actually in our most recent series we played against a Stitches off lane on this map, which was very interesting.
Stitches is also particularly frustrating on this map because of the sheer number of effective walls that are out there.
Yeah, there's so many chokes on this map that if you can get vision of them moving around in those chokes, it's basically a free hook.
Anyways.
Send link real quick. I just got one.
Sure. Let me pop that to you. There's a joke I want to make at your expense.
About my computer being a potato? I'm fully well aware.
No. I was just going to say that you're a co-caster for a reason, and a very good reason.
Ooh.
sorry.
I'll never recover from this. Also, shout outs to Crafty Devil in the chat, here to probably make fun of me the entire time I can.
Very nice. That's what you need your teammates to do. They need to be in the chat to make fun.
Teammates are for.
Yeah, heck yeah. Anyways. Let's see what we can get done. Seems like everyone's about to be ready. And I'm going to have to remember what my hotkeys are.
All I know is I remember looking through these two teams, and I saw that I believe it is Gen.M that has a Chen player in the solo lane. And anyone who knows me, I'm always happy to see some Chen gameplay. So hopefully we'll get to see at least a game or two of it. And
heck yeah.
I'll try my best not to focus on it too much throughout the series.
Oh man, this is definitely drawing in a huge crowd today. I do hope we don't disappoint, and I also hope that both teams play out to their heart's content.
Yeah, so some possible things to see coming up in this ban phase. I know that they've played a lot of Garrosh at the tank position for Gen.M, so that might be something to look at.
Yeah.
we mentioned as well, always very annoying to play against.
I actually remember seeing... Oh, sorry. I remember seeing the Garrosh versus Almost Legends Gold, and it was destructive. Like, it wasn't even close.
Randy Newman is really good on that Garrosh pick.
Yeah.
I've had the displeasure of playing against it, and there it is, the first pick.
Heck yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. Now then, what does Info respond with? We shall see in a few seconds.
There is the Artanis. There's a few other. I know they've taken the Joe away a lot from Durotan's couch this season. But
there's that Maiev, as we predicted. One of those champions that I think Garrosh, Medivh, and Maiev are in the list of anti-fun champions that can force out bans so easily.
If a team has a really good Maiev player, it is just so frustrating to play against. We're going to see the Durotan for the second ban. Very interesting. I know that I believe it's Randy Newman who's been playing a lot of it recently.
And Alarak,
I think that's another target ban at Ace, actually.
I mean, it has to be. But these are bans that completely defy any sense of what I'm used to, so I'm just lapping this up and being amazed. There's that Johanna pick. Really kind of hoping that we see something like an Anduin in the third pick. Falling Bomb is always a fun comp.
I totally agree. Yeah, I almost think these bans from Gen.M scream that they just want to try and force Durotan's Couch into playing a standard game. Try and keep the quote unquote weirder picks to a minimum and try and beat them in a straight fight. Blaze and Lucio coming out
Yeah.
here. I know Randy Newman, he's really gone on to that Tyrande and that Lucio towards the later half of the season. So we'll get to see just how impactful he is on that pick here.
Yeah. And Blaze is always a good pick. We might see Legilica just cheese out some towers in the first few minutes. Crossfire can do a lot of chip damage for free. And there's that Artanis. And Li Ming too. Li Ming is a pick I always love, especially with the Seeker build. You can just pepper the objective down from a safe range.
Yeah,
So
one of the nice things about having the Ming also is that with her being a mage, a lot of the best racers most people consider from the auto attack position, and Ming can kind of bring that from the mage position as well with that Seeker build. So
yeah.
kind of a high priority pickup. But yeah, we see the Sylph taken away. 10 seconds left here. What do you think they're going to get rid of here for Durotan's Couch?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot there, aren't you? I was still thinking about the Sylph ban. Zagara. I mean, I'm not against it, but I'm more used to seeing her as an anchor offlaner, and I don't think we're going to see a Blaze main tank. The Sylph ban, though, is something that I always appreciate. Remember when I said
really annoying.
Remember when I said there's a list of 3 anti-fun heroes? I just remember that Sylph is number 4 on that list. There's lots of heroes that are just so frustrating to deal with. Raynor for the race.
Diablo and Raynor. Okay, so
Raynor
they do
for
have
the
the
race,
Executioner. Yeah. Still one more damage pick, so they're holding that last damage dealer here. Overall, though, I mean, I think the race advantage is a little bit currently in favor of the side of Durotan's Couch with that Artanis, but it's all going to come down to what they round out this draft here with.
Yeah. Still love to see an Anduin. Rhaegar's picked up. Tychus. Infofox is going to have a difficult time in the... Well, diving into that. Definitely a strong lineup.
Even worse if he gets swapped in, because then he can get locked down by the Joe right in front of the Tychus, and he's as good as dead at that point.
But there isn't a lot stopping Diablo from just queuing a Ming or a Tychus and blowing them up quickly. And there's the Medivh. Infofox is going to be allowed to completely run wild in a lot of these situations.
Having that protect makes the Diablo a little bit less squishy into the Tychus, giving him that, second or so of invulnerability whenever the minigun's hitting him should be able to get a decent amount of value here.
Yeah. I think my final thoughts on this are that Durotan's Couch has definitely won the race, but it's still well within the realm of possibility that Gen.M can win team fights. Hyperion, it will be much stronger on the push, so it might not even be necessary for Gen.M to outright win objectives in order to overall win the game.
Yeah, their engage potential is crazy from the side of Gen.M. Being able to just portal over multiple walls and just Diablo and Blaze dive bombing into a backline or something like that. I mean, even worse, they could be made unstoppable while they're doing it if Lucio chooses to go high five. So it's going to be really, the onus is going to be a lot, I think, on the ancestral heals, as well as depending on, if Joanna decides to go that falling sword to try and lower some of the crowd control.
I'd absolutely go Blessed Shield in this situation, though. It's going to be super key for keeping Diablo, Lucio, and Medivh pinned in one spot so they get killed.
Actually, Maestro casts in chat saying something very interesting. Valo made it through this entire draft, wasn't picked or banned. That's very interesting to see with, the level of priority you usually see on that hero on BOE.
Maybe a missed opportunity for French as a player. He might have been able to pick that up instead.
There's also the possibility that maybe he was afraid of potential dive threats coming in with their final 2 picks and wanted to just go something safe. The Raynor also gives them the potential, though, with the knockback to isolate Artanis if he tries to go looking for a swap.
Same deal with Lucio. But what I'd really love to see, if this game makes it past 20, is for French to just take execute orders and keep running until everything is dead. That
I mean,
would
we
be
played
quite
against that
entertaining.
we played against that like just last week in Storm League, a Rainer that was just imping onto our core with execute orders.
Yeah, it's always an annoying talent to see.
Yeah, by the time you would get to the other end of the map to siege, you'd already be back up. It's so stupid.
Yeah. All those panda portraits. I actually only just realized that all of their portraits are different, which I'm finding quite funny now. Huh. Apparently, somebody is holding up the queue, and I think it's me.
There's a good chance it's me. I'll be honest. My
Ah,
computer,
that's
my
how life
computer is
goes.
not the fastest. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So we're just, we're just playing up the gameplay right now. But
You say pause, pause, and the game's already over.
well, it looks like we're finally getting into it here.
All
So
right, I'm gonna just.
yes.
Darn it.
I was gonna say, did you want to introduce us to the side of
Yeah.
Durotan's couch?
All right. Ace is playing Tychus, Ektar is playing Rhaegar, Afish is playing Li Ming, Captain Wedge is playing Johanna, and Wildcard is playing Artanis.
10 seconds.
And for the side of Gen.M Esports, we have Logic Alia on the Blaze, French on the Rainer, Infofox on the Diablo, Randy Newman on the Medivh, and Randy Newman on the Lucio.
Let's hit that 5 times fast. Ooh. Portal Mass reaction already starting. Tanks have
We
already
always love
popped
to see
cooldowns.
Portal Mastery.
It looks like Infox spooks Wedge over there.
Well, so far, just a little bit of trading back and forth. Nothing too crazy. Top lane shouldn't be too exciting, considering we have the amateur opponent taken from the Artanis. So
Yeah.
likely will be a bit of a wet noodle fight up there.
Adrenaline's impact on the side of Blaze, too. Not something you always see on this type of map. Sometimes you see Neural Stim Pack instead. Infofox goes in, catches Ace, and Ace is now punishing. Infofox loses almost every... Infofox goes down!
Yeah, there's that.
Oh! Randy Newman gets caught by Afish!
Yeah, the Protect went out onto French in that fight, and they switched targets immediately onto that Diablo, the minigun, just putting in absolute work, and Diablo just didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. Already seeing a siege camp coming out on the side of Couch. It's really giving them a huge tempo lead. Meanwhile, Randy Newman is trying to solo the camp.
He might be up there until Tuesday trying to do that camp. That's going to be a little while.
Yeah,
especially if this Tychus scouts him out.
Angelica comes to help, but Randy Newman lost nearly 60% of his health there.
Oh no, and they
it's been
do
scouted
see it
out.
here. They're so low.
Oh no. And the portal goes out. And another siege cam falls to the side of Durotan's couch.
Yeah, I don't know if that was miscommunication or what it was, because, I mean, Medivh can't do that camp alone. I guess Blaze wanted to try and get the wave first, but it just took a little bit too long, and yeah, now you have the wave pushing at the top, and Blaze has his work cut out for him up there.
Yes, indeed, the game is a little bit loud. Thanks for the information from Xanatharium. Anyways, one thing that I really like to see here is that our Tychus friend Ace has picked up in the rhythm. This is going to do a lot to navigate that Medivh's extra potential to mitigate damage. Abilities are going to get a lot stickier here. Raven Familiar comes out. That's a fairly standard pick for Medivh at level 4. And Raynor goes to Hearth.
Yeah, nothing too crazy here, it looks like, on the builds, other than, it looks like the Tychus going into that full minigun build. Going to be very scary for the Diablo to be going up against. And as we get into the first race here, yeah, advantage is going to be firmly in the side of Durotan's couch with that amateur opponent just doing so much work, but they might try and push him off it.
Exterminators trying to do the same thing. Camps are both getting value on both sides here, but it looks like Durotan's couch actually is going to get more value from the camp as well. Impa Fox has managed to reclaim space, and Ace gets wallbanged, knocked, stunned, and I think they get out. Meanwhile, Raynor actually... Whoa, Lucio got chipped. But
yeah, that was a good double pull in there from the Joanna. Caught both the Blaze and the Lucio, and Medivh had to choose which one to save in that fight. He chose the Blaze, and I believe that was Ace who on the Tychus instantly switched over to the Lucio and finished him off.
yeah. Level 7s will be out in a bit. And while the fight definitely went one way, it's not that big of a shield. This is still defendable for the side of Gen.M.
Oh yeah, absolutely, especially with the Raynor into position up there.
Randy Newman takes a lot there as well, but heals back up with his big heals. Level 7s coming out for the side of Durotan's Couch. Conviction, fairly standard, especially with Falling Sword. Relentless Soldier to counter out the Diablo dive. And it is Orb build for the Li Ming alongside Final Cut.
The double blinds from this Joe are getting a lot of value, especially with Raynor being their main mortal clear. He just keeps getting blinded on that top side and slowing down their clear a lot. And this first objective might take the whole fort here.
That it will. Looks like the Couch is backing out, and they're... I honestly don't know what they can do at this point. Everything's been conquered at this point, except for that bot side camp, which they are now making a beeline to.
Yeah, bot camp is almost certainly going to go over to Durotan's Couch, but good rotation here from the side of Gen.M going and doing that top camp as well, but a very firm structure. Actually, they're just going for the Blaze instead down there.
Hector's just barely... Oh no!
Whoa!
Legilica's just sort of sitting there coping at what happened. Oh, Ace calls out nice guy. What?
I don't know if you can see it there. Also, those of you watching, but they were also pinging Blaze after the failed gank, like almost like a wow, how are you still alive?
Honestly, I only caught the tail end of that. But oh no.
This was a game that was going so well for Durotan's Couch. I mean, they still have a massive structure advantage,
but
they gave over so much free experience.
Yeah, they just gave Gen.M a huge breathing room. Wait, they're going for Legilica again, but he just nopes out. It's like, yeah, that's not happening again.
It was actually a good effort by Ace. He tried to dash in front of the Blaze stun to keep him from escaping, but not
it's also
able to find him.
Important to note that nanomachine coding exists, and it is going to wreak havoc on this Tychus' ability to deal damage.
Yeah, that's going to help them a lot. They've really been struggling into this minigun in this early stage of the game, but now just lowering that attack speed just makes Diablo's life so much easier in these fights.
Ultimates are coming out for the side of Couch. It's Ancestral, Draken Laser Drill, Suppression Pulse. It's going to be basically impossible for Gen.M to get a kill now.
Yeah, they're not going to have their 10s for the near future here. They still need another wave somewhere. It looks like Blaze is going to try and catch it in this top lane, but he has to be careful if Durotan's Couch doesn't rotate over. Looks like they're going to let him have it, though.
No Hyperion coming out on the side of Gen.M. Instead, it's opting for Dusk Raider.
Well, a huge engage there as they try and follow up on the ley line. Blaze gets into the bunker.
Oh,
go down here.
Everybody just poured it out there. Pretty much every single ult except for Ancestral and Wave of Force was used there.
The problem is there's just such a huge lead for the side of Durotan's Couch on this objective, even with the Raynor racing. I think it's going to be pretty hard for them to win this objective.
It's going to be impossible to deal with that Li Ming chip. They're just going to have to keep tanking orbs, and that's just not feasible.
Yeah, especially with the orb build, it's going to keep resetting.
It's going to also keep penetrating in, and it looks like the Legilica is going to go... Wow, that was an excellent charge out. Meanwhile, their camp got some good chip, but not nearly enough. This objective is going to do so much more than that.
Yeah, now this is very likely going to take this fort in the bottom lane as well also. And yeah, structure advantage just keeps snowballing further and further out of control for Durotan's Couch. I'm wondering, if you're on the side of Gen.M, how do you plan to get back into this game given this?
Well, Medivh's halfway stacked. Look to get that, and hope to God that it's enough. going to need more damage somewhere.
So that ley line just barely missed the Tychus there on the bot side. There is a small chance they'll be able to hold this fort, but...
Unlikely. It's going to go down, and because of the fact that Legilica was here, they're likely going to take a bit of chip topside.
Yeah, they're taking a little bit of chip. However, the fact that they fought that so far past the Immortal did allow Raynor to do a lot of the clear.
Yeah. Excellent
and made it so
zoning
they didn't take much
from the
bottom.
side of InfoFox and his supports. Meanwhile, Gen.M is looking for one of the possible ways to actually come back here, which is a crazy wild steal play.
Wasn't really good engaged by the Diablo, but the follow-up just didn't really seem to be there now. He's going to have to escape. Oh, Medivh! He's going to
Oh,
get
no.
down
There
on
goes the
summit.
stacks. Oh,
And
no.
now Joanne is about to land on the Diablo. He's going to get minigun.
Oh,
here.
4-man stun by Legilica here, though.
It looks like Legilica's going to be able to get away.
Yeah.
Legilica here on this.
Those
place is
Medivh
fighting
stacks are
fast.
just gone. They're just gone.
Oh no, and they've scouted out the Raynor too. And there's pretty much no way for him to get out of this one. That's another kill on the back end. They're also going to be getting the top camp at the same time. This is just snowballing out of control here.
It's likely that Durotan Couch is going to win this one. Honestly,
I will reach your position shortly.
I don't want to be mean, but it feels like every single time Gen.M's gone for a camp, Durotan's Couch was right there to take it off their hands.
In fact, they're actually looking like they might want to do it here again as Joanna.
Oh, no!
Oh, the Medivh gets interrupted too as he was trying to go into the air. Oh, they're not going to take it, but it looks like they're just going to go ahead and stall it, which is
Those big guys, they are quite tough. It would have been about 2,000 damage in order to kill that thing. Might as well put that on the Immortal. Ooh. Leyline catches a few. They're looking to pick up Ektar, but he completely walks away without any damage. 2 stuns on the side of Wildcard. Legilica gives a big stun. Apoc hits Ektar. Ektar gets stunned by the Immortal. Ektar's been put into the back line. Ektar is down. Portal has come out, and it looks like the Johanna's going to drop here. Captain Wedge as well. It's going to be the start of a comeback. Oh, InfoFox disappears before his charge connects, but Ace also goes down. Wildcard looking to pepper the back line and create a wild goose chase, but he gets caught by Legilica. Legilica is doing so much work for Gen.M here.
Yeah, Legilica's looked fantastic on this Blaze pick so far today. I thought the fight actually looked really good for Durotan's Couch. The suppression pulls just shut down their engage attempts, but all of a sudden a little bit of assist there from the Immortal really helped them come back to that fight.
But at the end of the day, Ancestral was used anticipating damage coming out much earlier than it actually did, and InfoFox did a ton to isolate Ektar out from the team fight.
That plus also the level 13 Medivh Protect is in. It is the cooldown reduction, and it's getting consistent value with blocks onto the Tychus minigun.
Yeah, that'll make a big difference at this point. Speaking of Medivh talents, he also has Arcane Explosion, which adds more spell damage. But it looks like in order to win, Gen.M is going to have to do a repeat of that team fight, and it's going to be a tricky one. Portal's going down.
They do at least have the Immortal lead right now, so they can take a little bit of chip and still stay pretty much even or ahead.
The clock's ticking for them at this point. Oh, there's the ult out. It's also important to note this is devastating charge out of InfoFox. Ooh, Medivh gets picked, swapped, gets into the portal, and he's out. Randy Newman escapes. Big stun, but the falling sword comes out just in time. InfoFox is isolated, gets back into the bunker. Nobody has died yet. Wildcard might be the first to go. Wildcard stunned out, portal out, onto Ace. Randy Newman goes back out, and InfoFox catches a lot. This is likely going to be a dead Ace here. French barely escapes. Oh boy.
Honestly, it was so good for the side of Gen.M that portal was pre-placed before he got swapped in.
Yeah.
Because he was able to instantly slip out of there. He was a dead man if that portal wasn't ready to go.
Meanwhile, this camp, it appears that there is a reversal on the previous narrative of camps. This time, it's Gen.M doing the invading. You're getting a little bit of vengeance for the camps that have been going out tonight.
This has been an admirable effort by the side of Gen.M to get back into this game here. You know, it was really getting away from them, but now they have the XP advantage. They're probably going to take down at least this fort in the top lane, if not most of the key wall.
It's also important to note the domination is out, and the displacement caused by Diablo cannot be cleansed retroactively by Falling Sword. So there's a very real risk that Diablo will run away, and it's just too late for Falling Sword.
Even scarier here, the level 16 is online for the Medivh. That heroic cooldown reduction is so annoying to play against. They're just going to be eating ley line after ley line.
It's also important to note that Juggernaut plating is up, so Blaze is now a much more tanky target. Bajilica is going to be able to endure a lot. They'll need to win at least 2 more fights like that one in order to win, but Gen.M is still in this.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the level of determination they've showed in this mid-game so far. Just, you know, with how bad things were going, they stuck with it and found their opportunities here in these mid-game fights. And now they're actually in a relatively decent position here going into the late game.
They have macro tempo in one lane, and they're going to be able to counter it out in the other. They're up on XP too, so there's a very real chance that they're going to be able to take a favorable fight and just cruise to victory off of it.
It looked like Gen.M wanted to try and find them here as they finish this camp. However, they've already slipped away. But yeah, at this point, there's not really too much for these teams to do on the map. All the camps have been taken, so you know they're just gonna kind of play a little chess match here.
Absolutely. Chess match where every piece is a queen or a king. I don't know. And here comes the ult.
It only finds Joe, though.
Yeah, and Joe just unstops. It's a lot used. But they can take this fight, and Gen.M is still considering it. It's well worth it, too. They see Artanis up there, and Legilica finishes the job.
This is one of those situations where you mentioned about having that flesh shield in the early game. I think if they had the flesh shield there, knowing that they just burned all those ults, you could have maybe looked to turn the fight. But you know, Falling Sword just not a fantastic engage tool, and Gen.M is able to slip away.
I mean, that's what they have the Artanis for on the side of Couch. They still have a functional comp, don't get it wrong. It's just they have to rely on Artanis over Wedge. And meanwhile, Infofox is looking for those double wall bangs. Any place where there are 2 walls, just like that, you can do 2 charges. Right now, in one more stack before this Diablo becomes a devastating target.
Well, they do.
Legilica's going to make it out alive. Oh, Legilica tanks a whole bunch there. And there it is. Infofox has his charges set. He is now a serious threat. And he gets pulled and protected. And they're out. They still have their camp pushing. They can grab their fountains, and Gen.M will be back into this.
And they either have to get this Immortal very quickly up here, or it's clear, but Medivh is 30 seconds off his ult. He's going to try and get it back up, I think, before they take this next fight.
Fox's first charge got caught. And it looks like that is a dead Artanis. Immediate portal, immediate follow-up by Randy Newman, and Captain Wedge's body blocked into oblivion. Ace is getting peppered down by French. Captain Wedge uses his ult to escape.
He finds the wall bang.
Wait, Apefish just teleported through the wall. Like, he just vanished. He completely disappeared off the screen from my point of view.
Yeah, I saw that too. At first I was like, where did he go? Is he Gul'dan? Did he take a 20 portal back? Like, what the?
Yeah. Nice escape on the side of Apefish there. But it's going to be very tense for Durotan's Couch as Gen.M has absolutely taken this series. Well, not this series, this round.
I mean, yeah, and at this point, I mean, this is almost certainly a keep that might go over to the side of Gen.M here with this camp also pushing in the bottom lane. This is so much pressure for Durotan's couch to answer. And I think it's going to be pretty hard for them to keep at least this keep alive. There's even possibly a
It's
potential
difficult.
if they wanted to split push, and
But
they might go for it.
20s are on the verge of coming up for
For the gates of heaven.
Gen.M, so they're going to be able to just walk down whatever they want. They have a massive advantage in terms of XP at this point. And Hellgate's active, Fortified Bunker, Dustwing, and Medivh cheats. Not used there.
Oh, the ult was a little early there from the Diablo, and they weren't quite able to find everyone. The bunker is going to have to use to protect Diablo.
Yeah.
And now, I don't actually know if they're going to get any structures now with the Immortal almost being finished cleared up bottom.
Oh, they'll get this keep. It's just a matter of whether or not they get out alive. Look at French go. He's absolutely determined to make sure that keep dies. Amphifox is also chipping, and they've got it. And then they got out with the portals, using them for high-speed retreats. Now,
what a fun hero Medivh is.
Oh, Medivh is just great. Now, let's take a peek at the death spread. It seems Tychus and Artanis have been the overwhelming sources of aggression for Gen.M. But Lucio's managed to get clipped multiple times despite the lack of ranged hard CC. Looks like a fight might brew over this camp.
Now, Medivh does see them leaving, but it's just a little bit too far off.
Heaven's Fury and Focusing Diodes are both active, as is Far's Hero's Blessing. Those three level 20s are stronger than anything that Gen.M has. They're all serious threats that could potentially single-handedly turn this match on a dime.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm curious what we're going to see Mingo here at level 20. It looks like it is going to be the
Tarasha.
So the W's may be hitting even harder here in the late game. Medivh cheats, doesn't catch anybody there.
And big totem, big stun. And there's the wall bang. And there's the busted shield. Lots of ults being used. There is an Artanis in the backline, and he is on Medivh. And now he gets out, and Legilica misses a stun. Legilica doesn't quite get in the bunker, but that protect was massive. But Legilica just barely makes it out alive. No, I lied. There's the really main reset. And Amphifox portals out. Oh my word.
That was so unfortunate for Blaze. The portal timed out as Blaze was climbing into it, and that, I mean, he was as good as dead once that portal timed out.
And
this is going to be unfortunate timing.
Yeah, this is going to be a devastating setback for Gen.M. Legilica has been absolutely huge in their team fights. He's not going to come back in time for the second phase. It's looking like Gen.M is going to have to take a 4v5 defense without their secondary source of crowd control.
That crowd control has really been winning them a lot of these fights there, so I think taking
Fox is looking to peek. Double stun, Medivh chips a huge amount of Li Ming damage, and Wildcard goes down. Nope. Ancestral saves him. And that's going to be a full shield late game Immortal.
I just
Gen.M?
realized how much healing they have on the side of Durotan's couch between the double ancestral as well as the Heaven's Fury at level 20. There's just so much healing.
That's why doing the massive burst damage with Diablo is absolutely key to win these fights. But it's going to leave Gen.M with a difficult situation. They'll have to burn this thing down. They're absolutely going to lose a keep here, especially with these ridiculous blinds from Artanis coming out.
He did go double suppression.
Yeah, he'll be able to do it again in a few seconds. Another 15. Ooh, French gets caught, but plenty of time. Medivh's likely going to drop down and start preparing for another ult. Just buying some time. This thing is dying fast, but not nearly fast enough if they want to keep their keep.
Yeah, I think this keep is pretty much gone, especially with that second suppression pulse going down. They might try to find an engage, though, with the Medivh cheats.
Yeah. Legilica has to back out, but is walking out quite safely. Now both teams have lost a keep. It's anybody's game now. Whoever wins this next fight is likely going to win the game.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you're Gen.M there, having just faced a full shield Immortal, I think you're pretty happy only losing your keep there. That absolutely could have been game in another universe. The portal goes down, they might be looking for it here.
Yeah, but Couch is already out. And they're moving to take other camps. They've got good pressure bot side. And if this continues, they probably will be able to eke out a bit of a tempo advantage for the next phase. Newman is scouting them out. And Legilica's quickly getting to the clear. They've already taken some chip in bot lane, so that's true for both teams. Again, whatever objective comes next, if it is won, it's probably going to go on to core.
I don't know how I feel. Durotan's Couch chose to go to the top side here, so they lose all of their tempo in the bot side. They're going to lose their camp as well as they're getting up the bottom camp. And this could possibly, especially if the next objective phase spawns soon, it could start putting pressure, onto that bottom keep during the objective.
We got some banter in the chat right now. This is great.
You're always happy to see two teams that know each other and are able to joke around like this with one another.
Oh, Infofox was considering that charge. Like, he was setting it up there. Captain Wedge is having none of it, though. This last Immortal phase absolutely is going to decide everything. It's nearly at 100,000 HP. French might tank a huge amount. Oh, wild cards. Oh, Legilica's tanking a lot of damage here. Legilica's probably going to be able to make it out alive. Into the portal. French goes into the portal as well. Rennie Newman runs away. Legilica gets caught by the swap. He jumps out immediately. Gen.M is in full retreat, but they're still alive. Every single ult was used except for... Wait, no. Only the ults with cooldown reduction are back at this point.
Yeah, the Heaven's Fury and the Sound Barrier are back up. Two very key tools in these fights, but that was an aggressive play from Gen.M. I don't know how I felt about it, especially considering they had the positioning already on the Immortal, but in the end, you know, it's going to be Durotan's Couch coming ahead with the lead in the first half.
Yeah, they absolutely have the better race right now. Now it's going to be a matter of whether or not Infofox can catch someone off guard. And Ace is that someone! Ace just barely makes it out alive. Infofox taking so much damage. Shield is dropped. And that's a four-man silent. Wait, stasis. Legilica stuns Ektar. Ektar gets blasted. But he's going to live because of those blinds. Meanwhile, Wildcard is completely isolated. And Wildcard goes down.
With Wildcard down, I don't know.
This may be the narrowest of victories I've ever seen, to be honest. That one kill could be it.
Oh yeah, these teams are trading blow for blow with one another. That was a clutch medieval, though, by Randy Newman in that fight, finding four people clumped up like that.
French is getting collapsed on, though. This could be a counter kill. Randy Newman goes down, but there... Wait, Afish just barely dies in time. That Ancestral very nearly came out, but Gen.M is down their healer now.
Was that a misclick from the main points forward into the Rainer there? And it's not a Calamity main, so I don't know what the main...
I believe that was Calamity Instincts that you just saw there.
Yeah, that really screamed like, you know, just...
Same time, though.
Health bar and you click on it, you know?
I'll be honest, I was looking at Infofox's charge there in that moment instead. Because Infofox actually ended up charging, I believe, Captain Wedge instead of hitting the Li Ming with another wallbang. Both teams definitely starting to feel the heat. Errors are being made, and that is totally understandable. They've been at it for 30 minutes.
Well, they do find the Tychus, and they get the Joe on the back, and that opens up an engage.
But the Ancestral is dropped, the bunker is dropped, nothing dies. And meanwhile, Artanis has been shamelessly chipping away. It's all a question of who can finish this dang thing off now. Legilica has to run away. but the Lucio's back out. Oh, wild card. Gets stunned. Bajilica's probably going to drop here. Bossa Nova comes out. They have to get kills here on the side of Gen.M or they are going to lose the game to that Immortal. That's a 2-for-1 trade. Infofox drops down. His souls are gone. And it is likely going to be Durotan's Couch. Again, taking the win with the narrowest of victories.
Yeah, this is such a back and forth game. I mean, if this is an indication of how the series is going to go, I mean,
I'm hyped up, is what I am. Like, I'm going to need several glasses of water because I have to be glued to the seat. Meanwhile, Wedge. Yeah. Infofox is doing some amazing wall bangs here, but look at how fast that is going down. There's no way they're getting it out, especially not with these blinds going on French. Captain Wedge just has to repeatedly blind French, and this thing will never drop before the core goes.
And there's 10 seconds on Artanis. When he spawns, he's going to start suppression pulsing them as well. Yeah. So it's going to be even harder to clear.
And I don't know if that Lucio was a DC, but that'll be GG. Immortal survives with like 10 HP before the core drops.
Yeah, what a crazy back and forth game. Like
absolutely.
These two teams both definitely came to play. I mean, Durotan's Couch, they came out with the early game advantage, but I almost called them Randy Newman. I'm so familiar with them from the early days. Gen.M really fought their way back into this game here in the mid to late game, but it really just came down to that last Immortal phase, a real chess match between the two teams trying to get that last Immortal.
Anyways, I'm going to go grab a drink, and we shall see where we go to in round 2.
Yeah, we'll say looking at these talents, yeah, we did see the full orb build from the Ming here in this game. The totem build coming out from the Rhaegar as well, just that massive AoE slow and attack speed and spell power reduction. Overall, yeah, I think both teams were actually really well drafted, but I mean, it really was just that late game sequence from Durotan's Couch, able to find the little advantages, able to stave off the engages, and I mean, just slowly managed to convert for them in the late game. In fact, it was Randy Newman actually that finished higher in kills, finishing 13-10 on takedowns. But, you know, they were just got enough of an advantage in that early game that they were able to convert in the late game. So, very impressive effort there.
Hey, I am back. And it doesn't seem like we have a lobby link quite yet.
There's always a lot of thinking to go on between games.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you want to retool your drafts, whether you want to, whether you think there's a map you could try taking them to try and squeeze out an advantage. There's always a lot of decisions to be made.
But according to the rules, you only have 2 minutes to make that lobby. I occasionally become a rule stickler.
I mean, especially in a best of game 5 series, there's definitely room for it because, everyone wants to go to bed at some point.
Yeah. And, of course, if you play 30 minutes, look, I don't care. Take 5 minutes. You need it. Like, those long games get exhausting.
Oh, yeah, especially, if you play a full best of 5 series, I mean, that can easily take, 3 hours plus. So it gets grueling after a while.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing both teams devolve into the purest form of HOTS players. So, we'll be seeing Murkies, Butchers, Novas, typical stuff for QM. Honestly, there is a point in time where the thinking gets hard, and you just have to pick and go with something.
I just peeked in chat. Thanks for the love, everyone in chat. Really appreciate it. I don't know why I have a fan club in chat, but I'll happily take it.
I mean, hey, you did the work while I was busily, desperately fingering for the water and hoping for something to keep my throat not dry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep. See, I've been drinking caffeine the whole time because last thing I want to do is fall asleep. I was up at 7:30 this morning, so gotta push through today.
Yeah. I should induct you into the caffeinated nights.
I could trust me. The more caffeine, the better. I need it.
Oh, hey, did you get an invite? We're going to Volskaya. And I believe it was
But they
Durotan's
didn't
couch
post
who
it in
picked
the
it.
NGS chat. Yeah, you'll need to set a lobby link.
Sure. Let me get to
They must
it.
all be friends with each other. They're just sending the link to one another.
Yep. This appears to be the pick of Durotan's couch, so I am going to grab that blue circle with a 2 in it, slap it onto Volskaya Foundry, and thank my starry heavens that both teams get to do map pick, because I only made them up to 4 today.
Well, the only thing I will say, Volskaya Foundry, a very different map from Braxis Hold. You no longer have to worry about race, but Volskaya is usually one of those maps that tends to go towards the late game. So we could see. I know.
Oh, hey, you saw the lobby link, right?
Oh yeah, I'm in. They just haven't moved me yet.
Ah.
It is one of those maps that can go late. I know they banned the Zagara last series, and that's definitely one of those scaling picks that has a lot of advantage on Volskaya. Plus, the map vision can just be so critical around those items.
Personally, underrated champion on this map is Zebo. Lots of opportunities to do chip, lots of opportunities to double soak for extra stacks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can soak up so fast that quest. We actually played against Zebo on Volskaya just the other day in NGS, and yeah, I mean he had like 230 sacks come like level 20 just because it's so easy to double soak on this map.
Yeah. It also appears that we have a tornado warning for one of the players, one of the Randy Newmans. So we're potentially down a player until that comes back. French is in the lobby, but we are still waiting on one of the Randys.
And that would explain why the Lucio seemed to dip out there towards the end of that game. Maybe a little power outage or something.
Yeah.
It's always unfortunate for it to have. I mean, you can't control something like that.
Wait, that's the Lucio player.
Yeah.
They DC'd at the end of the game. Just got nuked by the tornado mid-round.
Was that this season or last season when there was that big issue in Texas that slowed down a lot of the games? I'm trying, like, there was like that big water outage or something like that, or power outage, or might have been last season I'm thinking of. But I remember there was at least 1 or 2 games where they had to push back their games because there's a big power outage.
Anyways, funny story that we're hearing in the lobby. Apparently, Ace is capable of finding your location if you ever mention what the weather is outside. So, what the?
Sunny.
No. Bad.
The weather here is always sunny, and it is not Philadelphia.
Yeah. Careful, Ace is going to figure out where you are from that.
As if people don't already know where I'm at.
I don't.
I am a New Mexican.
Oh, hey. So you live on the other side of the world compared to me.
Yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere. There's like nobody near me. Nothing happens here.
I am a son of the frigid north. By that I mean I'm Canadian.
Oh, okay.
You see, what makes me different from normal Canadians is that I wasn't given a Canadian goose as a simulacrum in my early years. So all of that evilness that's supposed to be in the goose is still in me.
Oh, geez, the cult of 7th Ace is slowly starting to build up in our chat.
The cult of what?
The cult of 7th Ace as they
proclaim
his divine powers.
Everyone is believing it. Yeah. Oh no.
Well, at least
Yeah.
good news. It looks like Randy Newman made it
Yeah.
in. So
I've
we do have the
confirmed
full
for the
10.
casts. Also, I just realized I'm being very ghost showing my portrait in this lobby. Like, nobody else is showing it. Storm League doesn't matter. The real money's in NGS.
That's where you really throw down.
Yeah. Honestly, I could really go for some just-in-case style in-houses that just, contain the entire cast of NGS. Like, I think NGS players are at their best when they're playing casually and doing things like Butcher.
Listen, when I'm playing casually, I'm definitely not at my best. That is limit testing time if I've ever heard
Heck
of
yeah. Anyways, bans are looking nearly identical, except for the fact that the Garrosh hasn't been banned yet. So
I feel like this isn't a map you want to leave Garrosh up on. With how long those objective phases are, it's so easy for Garrosh to just get into an aggressive position and deny you point entry.
absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it again. But there are enough open spaces on this map that you can get away with not banning Garrosh. You just have to be prepared for the worst.
Looks like Gen.M is choosing not to switch up their bans. So, I mean, they played a really close game in the first series. It was definitely, a map that they could have won. So maybe choosing to stick to their guns here. And the Lucio is being taken away instead of the Garrosh. Interesting.
Absolutely. So the question is, do we see that Garrosh just instantly picked up by Infa? Wouldn't be surprised.
I believe I remember when I was looking at them, I believe Randy Newman, when Lucio and Toronto aren't available, he usually seems to go to either the Stukov or the Anduin, but we see the first pick Zagara not afraid to show it right up front.
That is not what I was expecting at all. I definitely found it interesting that both Vala and Junkrat, two conventionally strong heroes, have been almost ignored in this series.
Junkrat could get picked here. I believe Afish plays the Junkrat, so we could see it possibly come in the 1-2.
There's
but
that
no,
Johanna,
we see the,
and the Blaze
yeah,
is
the
taken.
Joanna.
Ooh.
I think the Joanna got them a lot of value in that first game. The unstops were pretty good there from Captain Wedge, kept him pretty safe in a lot of those engagements. And I think that taking the Blaze away is really smart. I thought Legilica played a fantastic Blaze in the last game.
Absolutely. Needs to be kept away from him. And there's that Garrosh. And Stukov. Really relying on the Garrosh there for the cleanse. Oh god. Infofox was just flashed us that armor where you can see the freaking, chest plate sagging up and down as if it isn't a rigid piece of metal. I will never not have nightmares about that skin, to be honest.
I will say, by taking the Stukov here, that does leave the Anduin open, which could be a potential counter to the Garrosh, just being able to pull away those throws. And there's the Chen, but no, let him play Chen. I love Chen.
Yeah. Another thing that we need to worry about is that an Anduin combined with a Joe results in Falling Bomb, and Falling Bomb is horrifying to witness when done right. Like, it's basically point and click, you're gonna get stunned, deal with it.
Oh yeah, and it's so annoying to deal with, yeah, and then just the kiting potential also from the Anduin, being able to use that chastise to zone out the Garrosh when he looks for engage can be important too. But we do see the Tracer taken away. That is an Afish special. Definitely very annoying for Garrosh to deal with, so...
Yeah. It also gives a lot of freedom to Zagara and Stukov. Well, Zagara more, Stukov yes. Like, the Tracer would have been a very annoying thing to deal with and pin down. And it also would have been useful for ganks. But there's the Anduin and the Chromie Anchor as well.
I kind of like the Chromie pick, at least so far. They don't have a cleanse on the side.
Yeah.
Of Gen.M.
Yeah, time loop's going to be a problem. It's definitely going to make things exponentially more difficult.
I do believe Gen.M has played Uther double heals before, so that could possibly be a counter that can come out. We're gonna
I'm hyped for it, but Thrall Li Ming.
Interesting to see a Thrall here. I mean, I guess the Sundra would be a great way to try and get past that front line, but the Ming going to be able to sort of poke
Yeah.
down at that front line. But I just think the Thrall is going to really,
Suffer.
with those blinds coming out from the Joanna, might not get as much damage possibly in those fights.
Yeah. I think Gen.M has definitely drafted to, one, kill the protectors, and two, win through attrition. And that's a Zeratul pick. Oh no, this is going to be a very wild game. One
I
thing that I
actually,
see immediately about Couch's team, is that they have no DPS to deal with a protector. If Gen.M ever gets one, it's going to be really hard for them to defend.
that's a really good point. Yeah, they have absolutely no percent damage. Chromie not exactly the best at dealing with it. Although I will say though, I do think in the mid to late game, there isn't a lot of great peel for the side of the Zeratul. Zagara and Li Ming are both relatively squishy targets that Zeratul can exploit in that back line. And, Garrosh will have, I don't know how they're, what do you think the strategy is for dealing with the Zeratul in the back line in those fights?
Weep. The strategy is to weep. Because that Zeratul pick is really their ace in the hole.
Okay, I'm going to have to fine you for that one.
Okay. I'm never going to get to cast on this channel ever again.
That's a warning.
Worth it!
No, I love me a good pun. That was a good one.
Yeah. Love you a good fun. Oh, you want to hear one?
No, puns have to be natural. They have to just come out of nowhere, You can't just force a pun. But anyway, let's get into game number 2 here. Did you want to introduce us to the side of Durotan?
All right. Wildcard is hanging out on Blaze. A Fish is hanging on Chromie. Ektar is playing Anduin. Wedge is playing Johanna again. And the Ace is playing Zeratul.
And for the side of Gen.M Esports, we have Infofox on the Garrosh, Randy Newman on the Stukov, Legilica on the Thrall, Randy Newman on the Zagara, and French on the Li Ming.
Alright. We're seeing percent damage for all talents, power hungry on Li Ming, and Q build Zeratul. It also looks like it's a percent damage Zagara as well. So it looks like Gen.M is trying at least pay lip service to the idea of bursting down the front line.
It's good to see these two teams seem to be really good friends with one another, doing the friendly pre-game sprays with one another and exchanging the friendly chat. So
totally not toxic. 100% no. Wait, what? Captain, this is a 5-man rotation topside. Gen.M might end up missing a bit of soak here, as Wildcard looks to try to slow down Legilica. Few globes will be lost, but other than that, business is going to be as usual. Meanwhile, the clear is absolutely doing work for Durotan's Cross. Wow, I just had a straight thought that I had to wrangle back in there for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, overall, the thing's going pretty well, but right now, we do have the turret camp being taken for the side of Durotan's camp.
Meanwhile, Gen.M is forcing out the healer camp.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to get over in time, so this is a smart play here by Gen.M.
Gen.M has seized the initiative, and they're also ganking Legilica. It appears that they did not learn from last time. You can't gank Legilica. He's indestructible. Not even close. See, that's 100% HP there. He didn't even take damage.
That was a good idea, though, in theory. They already knew that they were taking that support camp, so really the only other place for them to look on the map
Logicala? Is it Logicala, not Legilica? Am I mispronouncing his name this whole time? Are we mispronouncing his name?
Could be Logicalia, yeah.
But Legilica sounds...
You're right. There's so many I's and L's in there.
Yeah, it's impossible to understand. Logicala. It's apparently pronounced like Basilica. Okay then. Good to know.
Like Basilica. Okay.
I'm gonna stop torturing everybody's ears with that. Logicala. Okay. That's one way to derail a cast. Meanwhile, Ektar's starting up the camp. Ace is beginning to burn, and Wildcard is rotating up mid. Wait,
Yeah,
am I seeing this right? Logicella appears to be... No, he's not... He's not freezing. Oh well.
Yeah, it looks like it. Right now, at least, the camp advantage is going over to the side of Durotan's couch as they get that camp going into the lane. Cigar already up there, though, to work on clearing it. So they'll have the
Already
top lane
stepped up
advantage
onto the
once
point.
Cigar finishes.
Meanwhile, Infa's just getting chipped out, trying to step up onto this point. Controlling it is going to be very difficult. Randy Newman has successfully cleared out this wave and is going to create a pressure topside that eventually is going to have to be dealt with.
Zeratul gets a bunch of free damage up onto that Cigar up there, trying to punish it, but someone needs to go up there and clear that camp wall. That's going to be a lot of damage.
Infa Fox getting chipped, but just barely makes it out alive. Zeratul, however, is clearing it quite easily. The longer this goes, the harder it's going to be for Gen.M. Zeratul gets more dangerous with every passing level.
Durotan's couch does also have the ability to take another turret before they go into this objective.
Yeah.
Try and even up the item count, 2 turrets to the support camp and the turret for the side of Gen.M. But I think it's going to be a really big fight for this objective. Both teams seem pretty poised to want to battle over this. Oh, but the turret did spawn for Gen.M, so they're going to be able to squeeze out one extra item here.
Items are going to have to be dropped if they want to take this win. Infa Fox gets out just barely. Cigar's clearing up, might be coming down. They're going to have to if they want to hold this. Turrets being used. Lots of turrets being used. It's turret central here.
Both teams take a little...
But
okay, the turrets are
all of the things were used except for Ekdar's turret.
I don't think those turrets are going to time out before the objective finishes. So
no, but they might get chipped before the end.
I almost think Gen.M may even consider giving this, but no, they might be posturing to come in from below here.
Oh. Yeah, Couch definitely is considering this fight. They've got the turret up, and Logicella's getting collapsed on, and he's gone! And Fox is actually reducing a lot of spell power here, and Captain Wedge goes next. Big 4-man stun by Wildcard, but there's no follow-up, and he goes down next. Now
that was a really good trait pop on the W from the Stupop. Slowed the Joanna into next Tuesday and just couldn't play the game.
Meanwhile, Infa Fox is taking this thing down bot side. It's a classic Zane Hyde special. Except there isn't anyone in the gunnery spot, so it doesn't really do any damage. Wait, nope, it's a false Zane Hyde. They're actually going topside all along.
Overall, I like the decision. I mean, they don't have the second person to buff the protector, so it's not really going to find much value down here. But they're going to find so much damage in this top lane. Joanna currently is the only one.
Problem is, the reason why you used to push up here is to get that well, and that's impossible now that wells are invulnerable. This map hasn't seen any Storm League play since the well rework. And I think strategies on this map have fundamentally changed due to the fact that wells are now invulnerable. All in all, the value is minimal.
With something similar to what Gen.M has done, doing like a 2-3 split push where you have the 2-man protector go one way and the 3-man go the other, because it is so hard to get that first.
We've got a fight potentially brewing in mid lane right now. Nope, it's actually just passing without incidents. Couch just takes that camp without any opposition. Speaking of which, it's probably worth talking about ults. We're seeing Blessed Shields out this time, and Void Prism, and Light Bomb. But we're also seeing interesting things like Devouring Maw, Earthquake, and Disintegrate.
I do love the Devouring Maw, especially in the mid to late game. If you get a big catch with that Maw, it can just spell disaster for the enemy team. Garrosh does look for the Joanna, finds it, but yeah, the lockdown just isn't there, and Joanna's going to just walk away. Yeah, team's basically just trying to eke out a little bit of structure damage. Zagara doing what Zagara does best, dropping tons of minions in the lane and
Oh, look at Ace
taking
lurking.
down some structures.
Ace is considering it. He really wants to just jump on MVP. You can see it.
Oh,
there it is!
Are they going to be able to time the light bomb?
They don't have to. They can just go into it. But wow, Wedge goes in deep, and that's...
Oh, counter blow up though from the Ming does catch
Wait,
the Zeri.
I didn't even see Ace go down there.
He
Absolutely
blinked forward
spectacular.
to finish off the Garrosh, and a Ming orb and missile combo from over the wall just blew him up in one shot. So made it a 1-for-1.
Yeah. Definitely got some breathing room in now. Every single ult except for Maw and Disintegrate has been used. Well, Disintegrate was used. It's just a short cooldown.
Good point in chat. Yeah, the Maw is a good counter to the Joanna trait because
Exactly.
Unstoppable the Maw.
It's one of the few pieces of CC that can go through unstoppable targets. The other, of course, being something like a stasis effect. So Chromie is a good counter, as is May's Ice Wall, and lastly, Zeratil's Void Prism.
Maybe you know the answer to this one. We were talking about this the other day. Maev's Vault, does it dodge Devouring Maw?
I want to say yes, but I'd absolutely have to test that in order to be sure.
We wanted to test it the other day, but we're like...
What I do know, however, is that the Stasis Disc can catch a Johanna and stall her out. Even if Iron Skin is active.
So far,
French is standing on that point. Uh-oh, Wildcard's gonna... Look at that combo! You better believe that, darn it, French is thinking right now, how did they know? And then he realized, oh, it was a time trap.
Yeah, that was literally a blink and you miss and blow up right there.
Yeah.
Holy moly from the Blaze and the Zeratil. Blaze did go the charge damage at level 13.
But Legilica and Rennie Newman are both looking to get value elsewhere. And even though those two deaths happened, there's still a good chance that Gen.M can take a fight post 16. Speaking of 16 towers,
from now. I will say the correct name.
I can't be certain if I'm even right at this point. I'm actually terrified that I'm now saying it wrong. Fairly conventional Holy Renewal Johanna build. It's continuing to be a Q build Zeratul. We're seeing Renew and Lion Speed, and oh, there's a skirmish going topside. Meanwhile, it looks
like Gen.M is grouping up for this fight here in the top lanes. Well, may rotate up after finishing that clear, and we could have one more ball
there it
here
is,
before
16s.
goes.
We see Mirror Ball, Super Strain, Corrosive Saliva, and Mortal Combo. There's a lot of potential damage. And ooh, Infopox steals that healing camp. Ace has to get in. Ektar is caught by the Maw before his turret drops. Wait, where did the turret go? Wait, there it is. It also got eaten. Bleh. Legilica takes a lot of damage but gets thrown out by Infofox. Wildcard gets turned into mist. Infofox follows him. And, oh, man. That was a 2-for-1 trade. And that objective does nothing. What we are seeing here is primarily the work of Corrosive Saliva. Just tearing into it. Oh, wait, there's also Mirror Ball as well. So... that objective
had to get the point there in that fight, but they just played such a great team fight after it spawned that it doesn't even matter. I mean, they have such great protector clear between the Zagara and now having the percent damage on the W, as well as, you know, Ming with that mirror ball just does so much protector damage as well. And yeah, it's gone immediately and very little.
Here's something scary that we might see here. Ace and Ektar together could unleash a light bomb onto Zeratul. It's really frustrating to work against because it just happens so fast.
They do have to communicate, though. There's always the potential for counter synergy if he gets light bombed and they accidentally end up VPing instead. But very potent combo, though, that blink in. There's nothing. It's like whenever you get a Genji light bomb, there's just nothing you can do about it.
Well, there is, yeah, or for that matter, Johanna with Falling Sword. Another favorite of mine is actually doing it with ETC's Bolt of the Storm. It works just as well. But you can follow up with Mosh instantly.
Well, invade play from the side of Gen.M trying to get this turret taken away. Joanna wants it though. Flank coming in from the blade.
That's a lot of people caught in. And that's 2 down on the side of Gen.M. The stun catches the disintegrate, and French is going down next. Infofox is going to follow. Legilica might drop the turret in time, but he might not.
Really wants to hold that turret. He is. Oh, he's going to keep it alive.
He gets out, but this is going to be tough for Gen.M. Those 3 kills, it's likely that things are going to start turning in the favor of Couch. Darn it.
That was a fantastic setup there from the side of Durotan's Couch. They landed a BP on 2, and the Blaze had the charge buffered into the Void Prism, so as soon as it ended, he was colliding with them. Really well played there, and yeah, now they get the bottom fort. They're going to get the soak on the map, and they might try and convert the mid fort also.
And they also got a 2-level advantage. This is going to be rough. This next objective could very well be picked up before Gen.M even manages to get their ults. They're going to use this to absolutely rip into these forts, and we might see 3 of them go down here.
They're setting up for a play on this Thrall.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're looking for a camp invade. What are they looking for here on the side of Durotan's Couch?
I don't know yet, but it looks like it's going to be the counter invade. Infofox finds them all, throws Berserker. Ace is rooted. Ace is pulled out. Blessed Shield's used here. Infofox is running away. Ace is pulled again. Ace is trapped. Ace is just barely making it out alive. Oh no, Randy Newman got thrown in. Ace is actually making it alive. Randy Newman gets clipped and blown up. I can guarantee you right now, Infofox is apologizing.
Yeah, I did see the throw. Actually threw Zeratul out of the Devouring Maw there. And that might have been the key that needed to lock down that Zeratul.
God, I've got a pun for this situation, but using it will be so bad.
So, I don't know if Gen.M is going to be able to find those level 20s in time before this objective expires. They are level 19s, so they only need 1 level, but they're going to have to go they might have to get that top lane out there, but they haven't. Lanes are pushed in their direction, so
they're going to get the soak in time, it looks like. But one more pick, one more false move, and there's a very real chance that Couch is going to take the second point of this series.
The good news, though, for Gen.M is if they do find those level 20s, they actually scale pretty well. They did go the Earthquake on the Thrall, so level 20 Earthquake with
that actually does a lot
really
to deal Zeratul's AoE damage, and more importantly, I think, Zagara is going to get another big damage spike to single targets using that level 20 marker talent.
Well, they're not quite. They might try and get it on this bot wave as they go to the objective, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get there in time. Yeah, I think they just have to give this objective here.
Yeah. It's going to be a right fight, but let's see here. We see Temporal Flux as a slow, Earth and Shields as we predicted. Titanic Might. Zagara's still holding on that talent pick. There it is, Pack Instinct. That talent is worth 5 levels of damage.
Pact Instinct is so frustrating to play against as a tank, especially. It just melts you.
Well, pairing it with the percent damage. It's something a bit interesting we're seeing here. Only one person is actually going into this. They're not going to have a gunnery. Like, one of my favorite things to do as a tank anyways is go in the gunner slot and, finally live out my vicarious dreams of blowing people up. That's a huge maw. That's a double throw, but the shield comes out. Aidfish forced to use the stasis, but Randy Newman is stepping up. Uh-oh. Infofox throws Randy Newman out, and there's... I think Vigilica's going to drop here. That's 3 turrets all peppering. Randy Newman is next, but... Oh, there he goes!
Ooh, big stun.
Look at those turrets. That's crazy.
Yeah, the item advantage for Durotan's Couch coming in strong.
Oh, Ektar just barely makes it alive with Zone Heals. Captain Wedge is completely fine. And it's now a question of, can we afford to stick around here? And Randy Newman's on Ace. Wait, Captain Wedge goes. French is in the pool, but oh no, there goes French. Infofox is next. Right? Ace isn't taking the vorpal. He's not having it. He's kind of scared. He doesn't know what Empha has in terms of.
He might have already
cooldowns.
vorpaled. I know he went for an execution on Zagara in the backline, so he might have
Oh
already
yeah,
vorpaled
he might
onto
have.
her. But yeah, they end up trading again, but the game's slowly just snowballing further and further out of control for Durotan's couch. This fort is, or this keep down here is a foregone conclusion, and mid is super low as well, possibly able to be.
Oh, but Ace
Oh!
gets out with less than 200 HP.
Your team destroyed the fort.
Meanwhile, big chip topside, and lots of soak, unsoaked. That 8% difference in stats is probably the only reason Ace is alive right now.
In chat, they mentioned that Frostwolf Pack has been getting reset this game and actually hasn't been finished till level 4 yet.
Oh, that sucks. But look at that percent damage from Thrall. He can do about 6% per auto, assuming he clears the conditions.
They actually do have a ton of percent damage on the side of Gen.M. Between the Ancestral Wrath at 7 from Thrall as well as now the Zagara W.
I mean, it reflects in the deaths. Johanna and Blaze have both died, and virtually no one else. But it means that Ace has had a lot of freedom to do big damage. It might be worth
the taunt and the Devouring Claw to lock him down, but it's still so hard to just catch a Zeratul. Blaze is
Cards
thrown in,
forced
though.
to use Bunker right there. One thing that might be worth noting for any drafters who are watching this, if you're looking to counter out a front-to-back comp, try heavy flankers like Zeratul. Because this sort of really focused fire on a tank comp has its limits.
Gen.M is actually getting their waves in a decent position. Zagara trying to get this bottom lane shoved out so they're able to contest this 8 point, but they do still have a camp pushing in the top lane that might be able to add up to a little bit of chip damage.
It's going to be tricky for Gen.M. They don't have Medivh this time. Oh, Randy Newman's been spotted. Infofox is so out and has to run through the entire team. Wait, he's just stepping up, getting ace? The taunt just barely misses. The stuns are coming out. The heals are out. Oh, and the Maw catches the backline. So much damage was done there. Oh, and there goes the Stukov. Wild card.
Though. Health bars are kind of low. They find
they catch the Chromie, but the Chromie catches Legilica. Well, Chromie plus A's. Man, that is a from the grave kill on Thrall there, pretty much.
You can see, though, the Zagara scaling has come into full effect. Like, their front line took so much damage in that fight.
Yeah.
And while they did end up managing to chip down that Chromie in the back line with the Disintegrate, just the front to back there, Garrosh took so much damage trying to contest that point for as long as he can. And now, by the time they respawn, this objective, do you think they're going to try and go core with it? It is a post-20.
It can absolutely go core here.
So now they're going to go ahead. They do have... Oh, no, they're still not putting 2 people in it. Are they? Oh, Ektar's getting it.
Yeah. Makes sense. They don't need a healer.
Blue team has
Both
been
Ace and Captain Wedge can self-heal, and they're not ending. They're going through the keep first. Look at that damage. Randy Newman's already chipping it out. French is already chipping it out. Captain Wedge is taunted. He's taking the tower shots. He loses about 20% HP. There's no healing because Ektar's trapped in that thing until it blows up. Well,
And look at how fast it's going down.
yeah.
That percent damage just does so much damage.
Yeah.
They didn't even get the mid-peak with it here quite yet. They will probably convert it at the end, but
Yeah.
they've done a really good job on the side of Gen.M of holding this
Ektar's out, and there's the Blessed Shield. There's the taunt. Wait, no. I don't even... The light bomb. That's the word I was looking for. Oh, there's a double stun again. Gigantic damage. Another throw. The bunker's going to go down. Ace is in. And there goes A-Fish. Garrosh is going for another throw. It catches Ektar this time. And oh my word. It looks like this is going to be at least 3 kills.
slain.
Yeah,
Ace
what
is
a
considering
comeback
the back door, it looks like.
I don't know if he's going to be able to backdoor, but what a comeback there by the side of Gen.M. I mean, they're so far down on structures, and yet they just take that fight as the Protector expires, and now they have a chance to get most of the items here on this map and maybe look for their first major structure of the game.
And there he goes for the back door. He's getting that keep right there and then. I wouldn't call this a comeback. More so, they've caught the knife at their throat. Gen.M is going to have to struggle to survive. But they've managed to hold off for a few more seconds.
I don't know. They chose to go for the mid keep there. I guess they decided because the Chromie was dead, they didn't want to risk it. But a post 20 Protector, I don't know. I think it would have been close if they had gone core there.
But where they are right now, it forces Gen.M to take hard and fast fights or lose the battle of attrition. Catapult advantage is just so heavily in Couch's favor right now.
They did at least get that top fort down, so that's going to slow down the catapult pressure top a little bit, even it out. But yeah, I mean, they're on the defensive for the next portion of the game, and we still have a few minutes before this next Protector spawns, and that's going to be really key. A fifth Protector can often just end the game immediately.
I think this is actually the fourth at this point.
No, because ABC and then A again, and now it's B, so it's 5. Or this would be the 5th.
Oh, you're right. Huh. I don't know how I didn't notice that. Looks like it's not just...
Did some quick caster math there.
Nobody clipped that gaff. But yeah, this is another 25-minute game. It's like, oh no. If they all go like this, and we go to 5 games, I don't think either of us are going to sleep tonight.
I would say, though, honestly, it speaks to the strength of both of these teams that they're able to just go blow for blow like this. You know, it's really good to see that our final match has 2 teams that are so well evenly matched like this. Especially, I believe in the regular season, it went 2-0 to the side of Durotan's Couch. So to see them really trading blows like this in the finals, you know, it's really good to see.
It's important to note that the numbers don't always tell you the story about the series. You gotta have to be there in order to know how it really went. Because there have been some series that were 2-0, that were 2-0 by 2% core. And I would call those closer than just some 2-1 series, where 2 games were slaughter and one of them went on for 20 minutes.
That is true, yeah.
Looks like there's going to be another fight. Ace is on the flank. And man, oh man, Amphifox has to step up in broad daylight and declare, I am here, I am going to throw 2 of you, and try and stop me. Look at Ace posturing, though. He is just sitting out of range. Ooh.
When this fight breaks out, he's really going to be the X
Assuming
factor.
it does.
That
It looks like Couch is maneuvered for the support camp. Question is, do they see it in time on the side of Gen.M? It looks like they do, but I think they're kind of scared to do it. Amphifox is in really deep, and Legilica just isn't there.
He's confirmed they're doing it now, and now the rotation comes in from Gen.M. They want to try.
Oh, and there goes French's health. Ace goes in, gets a stab, and then backs out. But this fight has gone on long enough that there are now 4 catapults on to the side of Gen.M. They're going to have to back out, and that'll probably be game, set, and match.
Yeah, it's almost certainly going to be objective going over. Thrall, no chance he's going to be able to make it back in time at this rate. And unless they're willing to take a 4v5, I mean...
They really need him in order to win this out. Wait for one more catapult.
I almost think if you're Gen.M, you just had to rush in and take the fight there, because it just seems like a lose-lose here. If they give this Protector, a 5th Protector going core with almost no keeps alive is so...
Amphifox has so little HP. So many ults used there, but very few of them actually connect. Only Ma managed to hit.
Look at that health bar on the Protector. It's literally just a big blob.
Wait, where are the tickers?
It's got so much health that there are no tickers. You can't see them.
You can't see him. His time is now. Sorry.
Yeah, it's going core, and this is going to have to be a monumental effort
There
from the
is
side of
no,
Gen.M.
there's no way they're going to keep it up. This is game. It has to be.
They're not pushing up very quickly with it. It took a lot of chip damage there, and now it's just slowly losing more and more health.
Turret's been dropped down to plug the tire out of the wave, and Captain Wedge is somewhat caught, but look at how fast that core goes when it actually gets down. I think that jump just did about 15% alone. GG.
Yeah. Fifth Protector does not play around. That thing
Fifth Protector
crushes
does
structure.
not play around. Whew.
I mean, that does, with that map win, it does bring us to a 2-0 for the side of
Yeah.
Durotan's couch. But
This
like you
next
said,
round is match point.
Even though it's 2-0, like, that score does not tell the tale of this game. It has been really back and forth between these two teams. And I mean, game one, Gen.M really were in the driver's seat for a lot of the late sections of that game. And also they had a few bright spots during this game as well. So, they're definitely not out of this series. They still have plenty left in them to try and come back and get that reverse sweep.
Yeah, it's definitely still possible, but they will have to play it flawlessly from here until the end of time.
You just got to flip the switch.
Put pedal on the gas.
And that's honestly the hardest thing to do as a team. Whenever you lose the first two games in a best of 5 series, I think it really says a lot to a team. It's so hard to just, clear your heads and just refocus on the next game when you've lost 2 in a row like that. But that's really what we need to see out of Gen.M here. They've played so well in those last 2 games. They can't let the performance or the score, the 2-0, get to them. And they really just have to, get back to basics and keep playing the game, because I think that there really is a lot of opportunities for them in the series. I think they've identified at least a few weaknesses, and I've liked, in general, the comps that they've put together so far.
I think that Couch has brought out some really good last picks, the Zeratul being the obvious one on my head. Their draft is definitely commanding and has had a lot of control. It's going to be difficult for Gen.M. There's a lot of ways in which Couch has clearly built an advantage, and this series has only been so close because Gen.M has been putting in the effort in the last hour to make it happen.
Yeah, I do think that Zeratul last pick was really the X factor in that last game. I mean, there just really wasn't a great answer from the side of Gen.M to deal with it. And, the VPs and the execute potential from the Zeratul, I mean, it really shone through in that last game.
I think it's also important to note the Battlefield's Eternity round, that Tychus pick in the late game really fundamentally changed how InfoFox had to approach the series, at least early on. It did a lot to suppress him. Anyways, have you been given a invite?
I just need one. I think they keep sharing it with each other instead of sharing it in the NGS chat.
Alright, PSA for teams. This is why you post them in NGS chat.
There we go.
Alright. Everybody, we are going to Infernal Shrines. This was Durotan Crouch's pick. Wait. Couch's pick. Dang it, I keep thinking about the innuendo. I keep training myself. Don't think about the innuendo. Don't think about the innuendo. And then, it just pops into my brain.
I've at least got Durotan's couch down. I'm still working on Logicalia.
Logicalia? Logicalia. Logicalia.
Infernal Shrines is always a fun map, though. Very team-fighty map, always a lot of teams trading blows, and lots of potential for invades around those camps. So it's a map that's always
Xanatharium says, reverse sweep time. Let's keep this best of 5 going for another 4 hours. I'll be honest, I'll be asleep in another 2.
No. See, I got that. I'm on mountain time. I still got plenty of time.
Yeah, but I'm also on mountain time. I'm tired.
Hi, tired. I'm Shane.
This series has been intense. Both of these games have gone nearly 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
they've been both games that have gone past level 20. So like,
eh,
there's no team that's really running away with the games.
this is just like we've already been here for an hour and a half. I think.
But you know
Logic
what?
Olia.
I'm glad though. I'd much rather see a game that goes on for a while and is a really good fun
Eh.
watch than a game that wraps up in an hour and a half and is just a total stomp. So
Where's my ring going?
hopefully everyone in chat's been enjoying this game. I think it's been a really entertaining game so far to watch. Like
Oh
both
yeah.
these teams have certainly came to play today, and they're showing why
Eh.
they're here in this finals match.
Honestly, what I'm hyped is I haven't seen any Hogger gameplay in either of these two teams. I didn't see it in the hero's profile, so I'm just gonna look forward to seeing an Infernal Shrines game where there's no Hogger because it's been just dominant on this map. Anybody who's
I'm
capable of doing the spins just becomes an immediate force to be reckoned with on this map.
So I hate to be the one to burst your bubble, but I believe Wild Card has a few Hogger games on record. Although he goes sort of a mixture build from what I saw. There was like a little bit of trait build, a little bit of spin build, kind of a mix.
You're telling me that all of my research was all for Nolthan?
I said just a few. It was only a few.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm fully expecting this season of NGS to be my last. Like, the moderators are gonna like one look at this series and think, okay, this guy does too many punts. Let's get rid of him.
Everyone's already making fun of my last pun in chat. Thanks
Oh.
everyone for
Wait,
knowing.
hold on a second. You made a pun and I didn't hear it?
Well, no, I made a dad joke. You had said something about like I'm going to fall asleep, and I said like, "Hi, I'm going to fall asleep. I'm Shane."
Yeah, I really need to have some caffeine in my system because I don't remember any of that.
Everyone in chat is making fun of me for making a dad joke on the cats.
Oh no.
We're just waiting on a couple people to come back from a bio.
I'm gonna go and grab some more water.
Thanks for sticking in, everyone in chat. Hopefully, everyone's having a good day. Thanks for coming in and rooting on your teams. I've seen a good amount of fans for both teams so far. I saw that Patience showed up in chat. I know that you're one of the members of Gen.M, so glad to have you here, seeing you root on the team. But yeah, it's best of 5 series. We currently have Durotan's couch up 2-0, though certainly Gen.M has played a really good series so far. The games just really haven't gone their way. A couple fights really have decided this series so far, but their team fights honestly have been really good so far. And with us going to Infernal Shrines, a very team fight heavy map, this could be sort of the X factor that Gen.M needs to swing the momentum in their favor. So overall, I'm really excited. I think that there really is potential for Gen.M to come back and look to get that reverse sweep going in this series. And everyone likes a good old reverse sweep.
Except for the people getting swept.
Well, true, obviously, but
understand, it is the worst form of psychological torment because you get so close to victory, and then it keeps getting further away. Like, it's psychologically the worst.
From a purely spectator perspective, though, like if you have no skin in the game for either team, you want to see as many games as possible. And reverse sweeps are hype, but
Absolutely.
Here we go. Game number 3. We're going to see whether Durotan's couch can close it out here or if Gen.M has something to say. Tyrande ban once again. So I know that Randy Newman really has been favoring that Tyrande and that Lucio. So we'll see if they choose to target both of those healers again or if they maybe try and switch things up a little bit. But now let's see if Gen.M decides if they want to try and change up their bans or if they're going to keep trying to get rid of Ace's top 2 picks here.
There's that Alrek ban again.
I wonder if the fact that they banned Alarak first means that they might consider leaving up the Maiev here. Because they banned Maiev first the previous 2 games.
Good point.
3 seconds left. Let's see if they get rid of the Lucio, or if maybe the Garrosh gave him a little bit of a spook. And no, they're just
Ooh,
going to
there's
get the
that
Lucio.
choke. Now, I'd like to see Randy Newman pick his champ nice and quickly so that it doesn't get even further choked.
He did go with the Stukov last time. I know he plays the Anduin as well, but you've got plenty of heroes that I believe he's still got some comfort in. He'll probably look to pick up here at least before the third ban, though.
What the heck? People are describing what I did as Amber herding. Like
It
as in,
is certainly a verb, I guess.
Dang it!
I'll
I
be
wanted.
honest, I haven't followed that trial very closely, so I don't know the juicy deets.
It is incredibly memeable. That's all there is to it. Blaze is picked again. Logicala is going to have fun. And Randy Newman takes out Stukov. Nice and early. But, that's going to be a problem because Stukov is one of those heroes that really can get countered hard because of his lack of a cleanse.
We saw it in the last game with that Chromie. They didn't have the cleanse answer, but
yeah, those
the
time
Blaze,
loops
though,
were nasty.
I'm happy to see the Blaze, though, again. Logic Alia played a really strong Blaze there in the game number 1. So we'll see if, we're able to get those
Afish is taking Zagara now. Zergang is in the chat.
Been pretty contested so far in the series. Banned in game 1, first picked in game 2, and now 2-3'd in game number 3.
Yeah. Alex Raza's banned. Healer choke continues.
Yeah, this is like Alex Straza's map, the one that everyone always thinks of whenever you're thinking Alex Straza. Or unless, I guess if I asked you, you'd say Battlefield of Eternity, but... So there's the Junkrat ban coming out. I don't know if I saw much Junkrat whenever I was
he hasn't shown up, and Durotan's couch is determined to keep it that way.
Well, we get 2 more picks coming in here. The Garrosh is still open if they choose to go with it here. We'll see if 3 seconds winding down if they choose to.
There it is. And now they have the Chromie. It's their time.
I wonder if they took the Chromie away simply because they don't think they have an answer to it, or what the reasoning behind it was. They do have the Joanna, who is going to be unstoppable, and they do still have the ability to pick an unstoppable healer with their healer still available.
Oh no, the chat continues to do what the chat does. And there's Anduin, and there's Sylvanas. Sylvanas is always a frustrating champion to see. I'd love to see French on a global champion or something, anything to stop the Sylvanas from just being able to go for free chip, because Zagara plus Sylvanas, Durotan's couch never has to step on to a shrine in order to win the game.
Do you think we'll see the first objective split push from Durotan's couch?
I really wouldn't be surprised. That double mage, what?
I mean, I guess that does lower the value of the blinds from Joanna, but
at the same time, there's no DPS. It's going to be really hard for Gen.M to get consistent kills.
That does mean, however, if Anduin does not have his trade up and Garrosh is able to find a squishy target to throw in, they have really good lockdown onto that target. Yeah, they will die.
But here's the other annoying thing. Chromie can always place the loop ultimate onto whoever gets thrown, and now Garrosh, and now the pull doesn't matter, more or less. But
that is true.
There is a problem with doing that. There are 4 heroes that can nullify the time loop on the side of couch. They absolutely have the advantage in that regard.
Yeah, Dahaka can burrow. Joanna has unstop. They have the unstop from the Anduin as well as 116 comes in, so Jonas gets that unstoppable as well. So lots and lots of tools.
Oh, yeah. Still loving those portraits from Gen.M. They're just Pandaren to the crowd. Oh. Wait, that one's already used. That one's just overused, to be honest. All right.
I am happy to see the Blaze. I'm sad we didn't see a Chen yet. Hopefully later.
Yeah. Hopefully later. This is match point for the side of Durotan's couch. Captain Wedge is on Johanna again. Ektar is taking up the Anduin. Ace is playing Sylvanas this time. Wildcard is on Dahaka. And Afish is on Zagara. It looks like they're starting to cheese.
And for Gen.M, we have Randy Newman on the Stukov, Randy Newman on the Chromie, Infofox on the Garage, French on the KT, and Logic Alia on the Blaze.
And
yeah, that one for cheese, but it's Sylph that isn't with it.
I'm for this. Wait, I see what they're doing here. This is actually very clever. They're sending Sylph up to show, causing a strong response. And then the other cheese hammers, like, look at that double take!
Yeah, Gen.M really was confused there. They do almost get that full turret.
Yeah.
Do barely hold on.
Bastards! The psychological torture on Durotan's crowd.
That's a pretty crazy play.
Yeah.
I like that. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that is mentally taxing. I would hate to be running against that. Doesn't get much value, but dang, the Zagara's already just continuing. Meanwhile, Angelica is being left to double soak, but you know, it's rough. Wildcard is going to get that clear, and he's going to move on to the intercept. Like, look at this. There's going to be some lost soak here.
Yeah, that also plus... Right now, Gen.M has vision of
Infofox is just sitting in the bush, declaring war on camp takers.
They already have their right camp out, and now they're going to try and go for this contested bottom camp while Durotan's couch is trying to get out their own, and this camp is pretty much forfeit down here.
It's going to be tricky for them. Meanwhile, it's important to note, it's the same blind build for Johanna. That talent's just too tempting. Extra damage, extra numbers. Ace is clearing out mid lane quite consistently, and Lizukella is rotating down to help clear out that mid lane. But
it still will at least get some value from the Blaze did go the Adrenaline Stick pack, so he will be able to line the Blaze in those fights. Overall, though, nothing too crazy.
Infofox going in for another wacky flank. He actually catches Afish here. But can French throw it out? No, he can't. That is...
Really good job by Joe getting into the line.
Yeah, excellent body blocks on the side of Wedge's part there. Meanwhile, Ektar's leaving down a well, and Ace is going to collect his dues.
First objective going up into this top lane, so that first Berserker camp, not quite as important for that split push, but... still will give you that lane priority, which could be very important. Yeah. It does look like Gen.M is looking to try and prioritize being on this objective first here.
Yeah, they absolutely are going to need to get these objectives if they want to win, but instead they're opting for the camp. Might be too late on that, and that might have given up their priority. It seems like Logicala is being left to clear bot side into the Zeg. Randy Newman is finally liberated. Going to leave some things difficult. This wave is going to become a problem, and it looks like French is going to be left to catch at least one of those globes.
Zagara is thinking about the split push down.
Zagara's going to continue to split push until the heat depth of the universe, my friend. Oh! Oh no! Wildcard is body blocked and pulled out!
Well, Blaze has something to say about it, though.
Yeah, but it's too late.
Able to follow up, yeah.
Man, this pull-out game is insane. What? They're
really?
They're allowed to make an innuendo, so am I. Right? Is that how it goes?
Well, Zagara is going to be squeezed losing out down in this bottom lane. Not quite able to catch up there is Logicalia. And now the objective is firmly in control of Gen.M. And they're going to try and get some split push damage done in this bot or in this mid lane instead. So far, I'm just looking at the damage they dealt. They've got the entire bot wall down. They got a little bit of mid damage. I don't know. Do you think it's worth it for them using this objective here?
Absolutely. Like, if you can get 2 towers in 2 different lanes, that is almost always going to be worth more than that first. Dude, ooh, Ace gets chipped. The thing to note is, after the tower jumping, these Punishers rarely do enough damage to be relevant. If anything,
true.
Yeah.
But,
like
they
I think
only have 1 damage to clear it though.
I personally, okay, that's fair, but ooh, Ace is just dodges a bullet there thanks to Ekdar's help. But let's watch and see how this damage goes. Oh no! Ace just gets disappeared. Oh no!
Ace clearly trying to laugh off that last death, but yeah, the Zagara did rotate up and.
But take a peek at that. After everything, even after Ace's untimely demise, the gate still stands. The efforts that they put in these other lanes with the split push has paid dividends for them.
Yeah,
Chip is king,
you're
split pushing
absolutely
is
right.
king.
They've gotten so much damage done everywhere else.
Yeah.
Definite advantage so far going over to the side of Durotan to couch for structures. Daka does try and dig up here, but the disengage has already been called, so nothing to find yet.
Good discipline on the side of Gen.M. They played an excellent game so far. And we shall see. Oh. It's the conventional ultimates from our mages, both Slowing Sands and Phoenix. Now the question is this going to be Bunker or something else? Something hotter?
No, there's no way. There's no way, right?
I mean, there it is! There's Combustion!
Alright, where are you getting this insider info from?
I can read the future. It's how I do invades.
Ooh, MC onto the Stukov.
Oh, yeah.
To get the damage down, but
Ooh, Blaze catches wild card. That's a lot of ults used, but everybody's pretty healthy. Except, of course, for, a fish who just barely made it out alive.
Yeah, they're just going to go ahead and peel back and get their camps out here, but...
Anyways.
I'm surprised to see how this combustion's going to play out in some of these fights.
If you're wondering what the party trick was, it's because I've been in that exact situation with Locust Swarm. Whenever they hold the ult, you know it's because their teammates are debating with them, saying, please pick the conventional ultimate, please. Like, it is one of those situations that happens more often than you'd think.
It's like when my team tells me to go silence and tune, and I tell them no, suck 20.
Meanwhile, Ace takes another tower. Infofox is looking for the punish, but he's out.
Yeah, so far, map control, it's starting to at least stabilize a little bit with the side of Gen.M. They are getting their levels in here.
Cool.
I do think Slowing Sands was a smart choice, though, because I do think it would be very hard to get good temporal loot value in this game.
Oh, there's another pull. These pulls have been lifesavers on the side of Ekdar here. He's done it pretty much perfectly. Big stun on the Johanna.
Johanna has the
oh no, that's a 4-man combustion. Wait, oh, Infofox dies? What?
Yeah, he had the poison on him from the Sylvanas dagger.
Wow.
And it was good enough to convert that kill, barely enough. Again, the Stukov healing just wasn't quite available yet. Daka did dig down to try and finish off a few more kills, but Garrosh will be
13s are coming out. It's the same kind of Zagara build, and we're seeing it. Cold Embrace. This Garrosh is not going to have fun after this. And there's that Black Arrow just taking a fort. Wildcard is onto the objective, and he has Ferocious Stalker as well. So he can just sort of jump in, do a bunch of damage, then walk back in.
Durotan's Couch playing a really strong macro-oriented early game here. They do have the objective, or the advantage on the Shrine, and now they're going to try and rotate in.
Even Fox forced to burn the Indom. And it looks like Legilica's been flanked. He just jumps on out and is none the worse.
This objective now is firmly in their hands, but I think Gen.M has something to say about it as Infofox goes
not
in,
guaranteed.
they get the taunt.
Oh, double maw. But nothing dies. Both teams have as good a chance as each other in order to take this thing.
I'm surprised they backed off of there from the side of Durotan's Couch when they found that double maw. Daka is trying to go in here.
Yeah.
And
and Infa just disappears. Meanwhile, it looks like Stukov's going to get tongued here. Randy Newman catches everyone, and Legilica blasts with the combustion, but Legilica's going to go down instead now.
Logic Dahlia tried to come in for the save, but the...
And there comes the next Black Arrows. Another fort gone before the objective even spawns on in.
And that means that this next objective is probably going to take at least the full keep wall, if not maybe a little bit more, but... Yeah, it's a rough spot here if you're on the
This
side
is the
of
worst
Gen.M.
case scenario for Gen.M. They've got 2 mages, and DPS is kind of on Chromie here. Like, it's going to be really hard to kill this thing in an efficient manner. Vox bases over the wall. Indom is down. It's lost about 25% HP, but most of that's due to towers at this point. Black Arrow is still on cooldown.
Yeah, they are going to clear it up, but meanwhile at the top lane, Dahaka getting a bunch of damage up there as well.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah,
Logicala burns him down. Ooh, he's forced to use the bro charge in order to get out. But he's been tongued. Ace is on the flank. Oh, no. That's payback for BOE, it looks like.
Yeah, that was a really good collapse from Durotan's Couch. Logic Dahlia, nothing that they could do about that flank there. And yeah, they definitely didn't flub the gank this time.
Yeah. It's not looking pretty for that reverse sweep, man. Very real chance that they're going to be able to take the win on the side of Durotan's Couch right here and now.
The good news is, though, the 16s will be online soon for the side of Gen.M, and they should be even talent tier for the next objective. I don't know if Durotan's Couch will be able to find 20s before the next objective, so they will at least have even talents for the next big.
Yeah. It's not completely out of things, but Gen.M's going to have to really bring their A game to the next fight.
Painting the map blue here for the side of Durotan's Couch, taking up all the camps, you know, get as much of an XP advantage as you can. And meanwhile, yeah, if you're Gen.M, you basically just kind of have to play around your structures right now and avoid bleeding any extra deaths onto the map. Because, I mean, if you die to this Sylvanas and Zagara cloud, they could easily just convert more structures.
16 coming out. We've got Firestarter, Juggernaut Plating, Shifting Sands, and Super Strain. A lot of these will be very Kieran. Oh, Legilica sees it just in time. Blessed Shield's used. Mind Control just barely misses, and he's out without anything. Not even a scratch.
I don't know if Logicalia just knew that, if they actually knew that that was coming, or if, you know...
Ooh, Wildcard gets caught. He's forced to press E, but he's still getting stunned. He's rooted. Oh, and Ace is on the back line. Ace is in a time trap. Ace is forced to do it, and oh, there goes Logicalia. Wait, he lives?
It was a really good throw from the Garrosh, but he's still on the flank pushing that blade.
Oh
down.
no, Logicalia goes down.
Oh, and now the chase down is coming into Haka once more. Anduin trying to run them down on the bot side. They are able to disengage, though, from Gen.M and get a bunch of damage onto the Anduin also. But
Durotan's Couch is already starting. Darn it, if their team's name was Durotan's Kraut, I'd probably have less problem. But I keep mispronouncing it.
This fort is
Yeah.
pretty much gone here, and
There's a
this is gonna be
shrine
really
in the lane.
difficult. Yeah, this objective is in the top lane, so if they are able to capture this objective for the side of Durotan's couch, this could even possibly spell game here.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in their position, all you need to do is soak up until 20. And then take the objective. They can 39 this thing. And there's very little Gen.M can do from this position. They're going to have to take a Hail Mary fight, get off vision, avoid the creep tumors, and murder someone.
And they definitely have the tools to do that. I mean, they have fantastic pick from their team.
But
really, what they
But
need
the
to
problem
do is
is,
sync up for
even
one
as they
fight.
walk up onto Wildcard, he sees them coming from a mile away. And now that they've gone out this deep, they lose another key. Now if they wanted to bait it over the wall, they can't do it anymore.
All of this is going to be core pressure also. In fact,
They're actually just going to go in. Randy
That's
Newman,
Art
French,
coming
they
in.
haven't... Arth, Legicala isn't going to be able to make it out in time to meaningfully influence this. That's 20% core HP lost just like that. Oh, and Garrosh dropped while I'm not looking.
50%. This might be game right here, right now. Crowley's
Yeah.
getting chunked out as well. 25% are they going to be able to hold?
Yeah, they are. They've got it.
And
B
now
East goes to Durotan's couch.
What a crazy end to that game. I mean,
Yeah.
Durotan's couch, they identified that everyone was there, and a lot of it is just the strength of those creep tumors from the
Yeah.
Zagara. Saw everyone on vision, and they just knew, because they knew where everyone was at, they could just go for that play.
Really excellent vision control on the side of A-Fish that game. Anyways, I'm going to give the last star to our friends on the side of... Wait, where's the star? There it is. That is a 3-0 sweep for Durotan's couch. Excellent gameplay. Really well done. Anyways, let's... Wait, can they actually access this chat? I feel like they can. I don't even know if interviews are done.
I think if we're in the open one, they should be able to pop in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we are in the open one. Wait, are we? I don't think we are. Wait, no, they're actually in lobby 2. Let's go join them.
Alright.
Wow, it was only Blazing Garrosh.
Welcome.
Hey, I'm not used to seeing the entire team.
Party hard.
Couch. We're all here. It's
Very nice.
everyone.
Anyways, I'm
Everyone
just going
sits on
to
the couch together.
I'm just going to drag Shane in, and we can begin. So, definitely a lot quicker in that last game on Infernal Shrines. I believe that was 7-1, and it wasn't, a 30-minute game like the other
it was
two.
10
I think
minutes
it was
shorter.
half the time.
Yeah, it was
It was
like
10
half
minutes
the
shorter.
time, exactly.
15:40, and both of them went over 25 minutes.
The first question that is immediately on my mind is, how many times have you sent Sylvanas topside while cheesing bot side with 4 people?
Never.
0.
That was my brainchild, and I'm so happy.
It was beautiful to watch, and there was this moment where, the Blaze and the Garrosh see the Sylph, they're rushing towards the Sylph, they're halfway there, and then they just turn around and the message comes out. Like, clearly that just completely took them off guard, and it really set the tempo for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's something we've never done before. We were discussing,
Yeah.
do we want a Sylph cheese? Do we not? And it was just a random sleep-deprived
Advanced.
thought, and everyone got super on board with it.
Yeah.
Hector has these random moments of brilliance, and if we follow them, it
Sylph
typically works
cheese without Sylph cheese.
The cheese was the distraction.
Yeah.
What if we cheesed on top of the silver cheese?
The
Yeah.
real cheese was the roaches we found along the way.
So,
I had no idea what was.
Oh, we did the Stefano Roche all in.
I have one more question about that map, and that would be, did you consider just never trying to take a shrine? Like, was that ever?
If you look at our team comp, that might answer the question. Like, I don't know what is better, a Punisher or a Sylvanas and a Zagara.
Yeah.
Like, that's
So-
a pretty close one.
Yeah.
For our semifinal match, we actually studied some replays with Infofox, and that was one of the big takeaways that he gave us for that map is early objectives kind of suck. So if you draft macro, just go do other things and make them respond to you, because like a first Punisher doesn't usually get a fort, but a Zagara and a Sylvanas will.
Yeah, that is almost universally true on Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, I mean, we have capabilities of taking fights, and we have to threaten that, or else they just walk on a point and take it for free. The real goal is to threaten them on point long enough that we can split out, and also, just hold them there and make them spend more time doing it. That's the big part of it. With their composition, they have very, very little shrine clear. So it was really a big punish to their shrine clears just running around the map and waiting for them to take an objective, because almost every objective is time gated in some way.
All right, I've got another question that was fueled by your response. How would you go about beating a split push Infernal Shrines comp?
Generally, you want to take objectives very quickly, so you can take a 1v1 hero a la Kerrigan, which we kind of expected from Gen.M, or just some other kind of hero that can generally handle the objective on their own, and then play a good defensive comp. But
the other thing you can do along with that is do the same thing, but in the lane where the objective is. So if objective's top, we were all split to bottom at one point. If they had the Kerrigan that we thought that they were going to draft, I think it would have worked a little better. But they just keep a singular good shrine clear hero on, and then like 4 push the lane that the Punisher is going to be in. That does basically the same thing, but then they also have a Punisher on the back of it.
Yeah, I have personally a different answer, and it more so comes into wildcard selection of Dahaka. I think against that type of comp, it's also important to draft globals, draft Brightwing to protect a solo shrine clearer, draft Falstad to respond.
Yeah.
So there are definitely ways to beat it, but you executed that composition pretty darn perfectly.
I appreciate it.
Anyways,
we all do.
Shane,
thanks.
Shane, do you have anything else to think about?
I mean, you covered a lot of the things in that first game, or in that third game. I mean, I have a few more questions about the other games. I'm ready to ask
all right.
about those.
I'll be quieter about Volskaya, which I think we should do next.
90% of the series.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Those first 2 games, they were so back and forth. There really is a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We're still having flashbacks from Medivh. Like,
oh my god,
recovered. That is the most terrifying thing.
Yeah. Let's talk about Foundry. Let's move in reverse order. Shane, you got anything to immediately think about?
Yeah, so I guess the first big thing for me was you guys got off to a really strong advantage in the early game, but I saw that you did a 1-4 push with the first objective. Walk me through your strategy there with that. Was that something that you guys had planned already coming into the matchup? Like, what was the theory behind it? What was your goal for that first objective? Like, what were you trying to get out of it?
They took
first objective.
They took first objective.
Sorry, yeah, they did. You're right. I'm sorry. I think you did it with the second objective, though, if I remember correctly. Whenever
go on, Wedge.
Well, just in general, like for Volskaya Foundry, it's very dynamic. For how we approach it, for who we're getting in the protector, what we're looking to achieve with the protector. Like a lot depends on like which heroes have reached their power spikes, who's going to be exposed, and just like okay, if they're anywhere close to us, how do we want to handle that? Because like I think when they got that first protector, we were just when we got our first one on the top objective, it was just like okay, pure survival mode. Like they are looking to dive us hard here. We have to play this very careful. I think they came out ahead, but like that's sort of like where we adjusted from there for going into the next objectives of like, okay, setting very realistic expectations for what it can achieve going into a Zagara that can just like absolutely shred you. It was something we definitely had to adjust.
Yeah, one of the big things is that the Punisher, because it can take up to 2 people, is very easy to dive behind. You see it in all sorts of games where teams just dive the 3 people that are exposed in the Punisher. The Punisher has very poor peel compared to what 2 heroes can do. So it's often very dangerous to put a Punisher and 3 people in the lane, and safer to force the split between 2 lanes and make the other team try and figure out what to do about it.
Yeah. It is definitely one of the conundrums of that objective that if you put both of your DPS in it, you probably don't have any siege. Put your tank in it, you don't have any peel. Put your healer in it, you don't have any healing. And put your offlane in it, and you don't have any soak. Like, there's always somewhere that you have to give up, depending on the current state of the map.
I did want to ask, actually, mid to late game, you guys got into sort of the driver's seat of that game. You had a massive structure advantage over the side of Gen.M, but there were a couple late game fights that went a little bit sketchy. You know, the Zagara had a chance to scale, and I'm sure Wedge and Wildcard, you both can attest to how annoying it is to play against a late game Zagara. You know, did you guys have a plan to adjust when some of those later fights were not sort of going your way? What was sort of your strategy to take control of the late game and come away with the win when you saw those fights just were not quite going the way you were expecting?
I'll take
Patience.
this one.
And respect the Garrosh too, because Infofox's Garrosh late game is terrifying. Well, it's terrifying
Hulk
all the time,
smash.
but
Puny
the
god.
like the double toss into like I'm just gonna keep on tossing you. No, it's scary.
Yeah, so the big thing was Zagara. So again, Fox and the rest of the Gen.M crew helped scrim, helped practice. We both raised each other up to this point, and we are forever thankful for that. But that means we both knew how the other team was going to play fairly inside out. That's why the bans were extremely targeted and planned out plenty of time in advance. So one of the big dangers is we both knew we could run a Zagara. Zagara has been kind of a meta call for both of us, as she's just ridiculous 16 and especially post 20. And so one of the practices I did was just running a whole handful of Zeratul games, because Zeratul is also a late game monster, and Zagara has nothing to stop a Zagara or a Zeratul from just jumping on top of her, dealing half a health bar, and then dropping a Void Prism.
Yeah. It definitely was a final pick that really shaped the entire game.
Yeah, I believe that was our first Zeratul game all season as well. So I have a very negative win rate on Zeratul, so that felt extremely satisfying on my end.
Heck yeah.
Positive over the last 3 days, though.
Oh, thank goodness.
100%, in fact.
100%, including beating June's ever-revered Murky.
Wait.
Yeah, he queues an NA and plays a bunch of Murky. It's kind of funny.
Huh. I haven't encountered it yet.
Yeah, you're probably too high ranked for it.
But it's June. Ain't he like top 10?
4.
What? No, that's impossible. I refuse to believe it.
He can't climb because he's busy playing Murky.
He climbs on EU and is like, I want to be a fish.
Man.
I feel that.
That's his fun day Monday.
Anyways, let's move on to the Battlefield of Eternity.
Oh lord.
Oh man.
A hard game.
So,
sure lasted
Ace,
eternity.
what did it feel like to, blast into a Diablo and realize, wait, he's still going?
It felt like I took the wrong 7, even though I'm pretty sure I don't know if I took the right one. I took the stun armor because the only way they could actually do much about me is hit me with a jet prop or slam me into a wall, at which point I have 30 armor, and their comp is a very low damage comp. With Medivh and Jim, they're not going to be bursting a whole lot. Yeah. So I figured 30 armor would give Ektar enough work to handle that. But as a trade-off, I didn't get extra trait uptime, and boy, did I miss some of that. Oh, I would fire a whole 8-second minigun, and they're still sitting there at half, 2/3 health, and I'm like, damn, dude, I gotta play around beat drop, protected by the way, and a bunker.
Yeah, I will say,
Damn.
especially in those later game fights, once Medivh got that cooldown reduction on his protect, like he was just nonstop protecting your minigun, and that just has to be so frustrating to play against.
And the
I
worst
mean, it
part
was
is,
try and catch who I could, but yeah, it was tough trying to play the little mini game with the minigun of who's getting the shield and who's not, and can I make any interesting angles work.
then there's the problem of, oh, they all just disengaged halfway across the map because of portals. Oh, they're all in
Oh,
again. Like, oh my
And
word.
then it's also Lucio for speed boost on top of that in
Yeah.
case the portal's down.
Yeah, that comp is terrifying. The only
They
issue
did a
is that it
great
was
job
low
of
damage.
picking the fights
Yeah.
on their terms for that. It was terrifying.
I think we both definitely missed the presence of Vala or Greymane in that comp.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Adjusted just
that
slightly.
over the gym, just the scale factor of it, I think would have been huge.
Yeah.
I did have one question I wanted to ask about end game. Okay, we're past level 20s. The map is completely wide open, and the game-winning objective is on the board. That objective was probably on the map for close to 3+ minutes, with both teams just trading back and forth with one another. What was your plan to tackle getting into that objective and trying to overcome the Medivh comp? You guys had been sort of consistently falling behind in some of the later game fights. What was your strategy to try and take that final objective home and bring home the win?
So, if they don't get an engagement that hits both Rhaegar and Johanna with the ley line, which is a lot easier for them after they get Medivh cheats. But if they don't hit both of us, we probably save whoever gets hit with the ley line. So our whole plan after that point in the game is, don't let minions get on the core, obviously, and then play defensive, make them come to us. Don't get caught. Don't have too many people get caught at the same time, because we can't chase into them. We don't have the composition for that. We can't escape from them if we start to lose really badly. So we just have to really carefully take the fight that is good enough for us that they'll let us take, and not get blown up by the combo.
And then get in as much poke as we can on the immortal in the meantime, because otherwise, like, we will never be able to like keep up with it.
Yeah, we actually outrace them, which is one of the few saving graces of our composition. And one of the trade-offs that they get for taking Medivh is, if both teams break off and don't want to fight, we get better race.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's really just we have to pick a fight that they will give us and is favorable, and that's really hard because, again, we can't make a fight happen. We can only work with the fights that they give us based on our positioning.
We saw it actually in a few of those late game fights. The level 20 Falling Sword combined with the level 20 Ancestral, like that person was basically invincible in the team fight. Like they just got healed for about 7 health bars and could not be bursted down. But I mean, you're absolutely right. We were talking about it at the start of the game. Like you clearly built a very strong race comp, but they had so many engage tools between Portal, Diablo Charge, Blaze Charge, the Medivh ults, like so many ways to get onto you guys that it really was just going to be, can you guys survive or poke them out before the objectives before they're able to find those engages?
You are 100% accurate with the Ancestral Falling Sword combination. Those were absolutely massive power spikes because one Ancestral was not enough. So we often had to go for second Ancestral, and that was really the saving point of a lot of those team fights.
Honestly, those two really synergize quite well with each other because the Ancestral wants you to clump up, and honestly, so does the Falling Sword.
Like, not to mention, we also like the big saving grace was having the blinds that we had. Because like when we can eliminate all of the gym's damage from that, it buys us a whole lot more time to make sure that we actually survive that fight.
It got you a lot of macro value too when you were pushing with some of those immortals. I mean, Raynor was their main immortal clear, and there were so many times where you were pushing and you just kept blinding the Raynor, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Definitely agree with that. Again, that's the downside of drafting something like the Rainer as opposed to, as you said, the Vala or possibly the Greymane, although Greymane's still susceptible to that.
But I don't know if you have any more questions, Osman, because that covers most of mine.
I have more of a meta question at this point. It's more about the division as a whole. Where do you expect, in a vacuum, assuming teams stay together, where do you expect everybody to go? Where do you think teams have developed and grown? And what's the future hold?
The East here, it's been a very tight race. Like the fact that it was like the 4th and 6th seed that made it to the finals is pretty representative of how it's been all season long. Like any of these teams from like Gen.M up, and like Gen.M and Whimsy's house both hit really strong spikes in like the later half of the season, and both turned into like a real force.
Yeah.
Like it was a grind the whole season. I wouldn't be surprised if like there's 1 or 2 that move on up to Div A, but I think even if all these teams stay together, it can make for a really solid repeat of Div B.
Oh yeah.
I can speak from experience. Div A was certainly a slaughter this season as well. So I honestly think that this has been one of the more competitive NGS seasons across a lot of the divs.
And
like even I cast a Division C the other week, and I mean there was upsets galore in that bracket as well.
Yeah.
It really speaks to the strength of each division this season, and the depth in all of these divisions of how good the teams really are.
Yes, C West had the 8th seed win Coastal Finals.
Yeah, shout out to Placement Committee for always doing the hardest job in all of NGS.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, there is a part of me that wished that there was some sort of NGS in-house that had all of the players creating an MMR that wasn't Storm League MMR, because there is a world of difference between competitive and Storm League. Like some of the best,
for sure.
Some of the best players in NGS are sticking around Platinum, sticking around Low Diamond, and they're absolutely capable punching weight with Grandmaster players. Because add comms into the mix, and players can specialize. Players can focus in on what they're really good at and can really bring something to a team.
Yeah, you've got more reliable follow-up for certain heroes as well, and in no-comm environments, heroes that can individually do well are rewarded, but in a team environment, there are other heroes that really do a lot better. I bet there could be a data science project that, definitely Sylvanas. I bet somebody like Zemel could do a data science project that, assesses, every player's wins and losses based on who they played and all that stuff, and come up with an NGS MMR.
Yeah.
It would be a hard project, but it would be very cool.
It would be cool
the
to
other
see.
thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just said it would be cool to see. Go for it.
I was going to say the other thing too is, I mean, in a competitive environment, there's a lot of X factors that you don't really see in a Storm League environment. One of the more common ones you hear is communication, but I mean, there's a lot of other things I'm sure you can attest to in an NGS season. Things like scouting, things like having the mental fortitude to get through a full season. Being able to find the right 5 people and actually gel with one another. There's so many sort of behind the scenes things that really contribute to a competitive team really being able to find that success, and I'm sure you guys can attest to that as well.
I can say with like absolute confidence that if it wasn't for like the combined expertise of like Ace, Ektar, and like myself for like putting all our minds together for the scouting, like we would not have made it as far as we had. Like we rely so heavily on that, and that's something that you would never have in a Storm League environment.
Actually, on that matter, what do you guys do in terms of scouting?
We just keep on throwing out ideas until we figure out which one's the least bad.
It's actually kind of beautiful because Ace and Ektar kind of like think very similarly, and they just keep agreeing with each other, and then Wedge comes in with these really weird things, and then they either be like, no, that's stupid, or be like, maybe, and then they refine it a bit more, and it works really well, I think, because it just takes something that, like, it makes everyone think a little bit more out of the box, which is great, but yeah.
So, one of the things...
we got so far because of those 3.
Yeah.
It works every time, 60% of the time.
Yeah. One of the things I'm hearing from this is that you consider scouting not just learning what your enemies are good at, but also learning how to prepare and play against that.
Along with that, scouting is not only scouting your opponents, but also scouting yourselves to know what they're going to do. I will say we got kind of a little bit lucky, quote unquote. We knew what their first 2 bans were going to be every game because Ace is a monster. But at the same
Nice.
time, we do have a couple of heroes that overlap. Like in the first game, we made sure that we got rid of the
Zagara.
the other one,
The other
Garrosh.
one.
We made sure to
Garrosh,
get
yeah.
Yeah.
like objectively, Infofox is the best Garrosh in the division, like hands down.
Honestly, I'm surprised that
He's
there wasn't.
He's also a really good Joe player, and we know from experience that he does not mind getting Joe as a second pick. So planning out our bans against their bans when we have first picks to make sure we can pick and ban Garrosh and Johanna worked out really well for us. We also know that we work, as you've noticed, really well in a defensive composition, which is why in games 2 and 3 we left Johanna and Garrosh because we almost baiting them to take the Garrosh early so we could make sure we still get the Johanna. I will say they 5-headed us going into the first pick Zagara because that got them Zagara and Garrosh.
Nice.
Because they knew we were looking at that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, both knowing what you're going to do and what your opponents want to do to disrupt what you're doing, especially in a high stakes match like this, I think is probably an underrated skill, being able to look inward like that.
Well, let's be honest here. The only reason why we let them have Garrosh was because Infofox bribed us. So, you know.
He did.
I did want to ask.
Fox, your check is in the mail.
check your PayPal.
Sounds like I'm gonna have to report this to the NGS board. Wait a minute.
Oh wow!
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Hold up.
About that.
I did.
Wait a minute. Oh no.
Speaking of scouting, now that you've won this series, have you looked forward at all to? I believe it's Heavy Hitters who won Division B.
I thought it was
Division B West.
I really thought it was Die for Vision.
No, Die for Vision is in C. They're just friends, and that's why I was like hyping them up.
Okay.
We don't look across to the next match. We we only look to what's the one immediately in front of us.
Wait, we have
Anything
a next
more than
match?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Grand Division Final. You're not free yet.
Welcome, A-Fish.
Look, we're already getting the enamel pin. The alternate enamel pin would be very nice, but and we're definitely gonna be trying for it. Don't get me wrong, but getting the Coastal Finals was the very big first step.
Heck yeah.
The next step will obviously come next.
I mean, the couch won back in what was it, season 2 or season 3? I forget. Season 2.
Oh my.
Yeah, so just 11 seasons later, we're gonna get we're shooting for a repeat.
Yeah, Ace and Ektar have never won it, and that feels so dang good. Oh my goodness.
Hold on a second. So is this a Ship of Theseus team, or how long have you guys been sticking together?
It's not.
Sort of.
The mast and the capstan have remained.
Yeah, so A-Fish, Wildcard, and myself have been playing regularly the entire time. Solon and Eggroll have been on the team since the very start, and they've had some off seasons lately, just with life stuff going on. But we are all still the same 5 here, and then we've just picked up some really good friends along the way. We've had Sailor Twift and Sir Noble on the team before. Gokwe has been on the team before. Gatlas.
Well,
Gatlas and why am I blanking?
Goliath.
Right now? Goliath, thank you. And then right now, why am I blanking on Gohan? There we go. Gohan has been a real big constant for filling in last minute whenever we need him. He's been able to come to the rescue multiple times.
Is it a fear adding Gokwe to your team, knowing Bourne could ban him at any moment?
Well, I mean that's part of it.
Always.
Actually,
it's a risk you take.
Oh boy.
Honestly, I'm surprised she hasn't already.
We've been really lucky
She's
on the
biding
couch
her
for the
time.
people we've had over the seasons to keep this going every single season.
Yeah. It also sounds to me like you guys need to publish a scouting guide at some point. I'm still fascinated by the difference in approach.
We'll wait for the off season when they can't steal it.
I am available for coaching. My DMs are open.
What's your rate, Ektar?
I don't. Are you? I don't charge.
You don't have to tell them that.
I cap out at Diamond 2. I do the coaching for fun.
Anyways, I've already sent you a message, Ektar. It's as simple as that. Like, I'll be honest, for me, scouting is, what do they play? What is priority? Okay, we're done.
That's pretty common for the like regular matches, but when it comes to playoffs, you can gain a huge advantage just in draft. You just have to win draft, and you're in great shape almost every single game. And I don't think we came out behind in draft. I think we came out.
You won draft
even
every
in
time.
game 1, and then we won the other 2 drafts pretty cleanly.
I feel like
I
you
think
win
every draft
every
we
time.
like came out at least even or ahead for where we expected to be going into it.
Yeah.
Which is all we could ask for.
Anyways.
I don't have any further questions, so I don't know if you have anything
Likewise,
else,
I'm also capped out.
Then did you want to throw it over for shoutouts?
Aye, let's do it.
Take it away, oh glorious Captain Wedge.
First off, huge shout out to Gen.M. They're an exceptional team. They're a really fun crew. We were scrimming them a couple times throughout the season, and like we played with them just like in matches outside of this. They're great guys, and I was really happy to face them in the finals. They really showed up and performed well.
We literally played an ARM with InfoFox like 3 hours ago now.
Heck yeah.
I mean, just
also
get
known
the
as
vibes
One
going.
Battlefield of Eternity game.
Big shout outs to everyone on the couch this season. It feels really good. We've had a couple of seasons of like having good regular seasons, but then not really showing up in playoffs. Everyone's been putting in the time, and it's really, really helped. And I'm really happy with everyone like being able to put in this commitment. And shout outs to you guys, the casters. I can only imagine what it must have been like having to make it through those exceptionally long game 1 and 2.
My throat is still dry.
Really appreciate that. I think that's all I have, unless any of my teammates have anything they want to quickly throw on in.
Shout outs to you for putting it all together as usual. Appreciate it. It's been a growing journey for all of us this season, and I really appreciate everybody here just putting in the time, especially Wedge being captain and doing all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Afish. He was incredibly spectacular at the start of the season. Honestly, one of the best glow ups of an individual player I've seen over the course of a season. Completely unironically, like you have improved substantially.
Heck yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds to me like that's all she wrote. Thanks for the fantastic series, and I hope you all have a good night.